Chapter 120. In the blink of an eye, CSCC's arms slithered into Wang Lan's chest like snakes. Her arms danced and her astral powers wandered. Wang Lan's sword suddenly went out of control. It was as if he had encountered a strong undercurrent underwater. Purring, with a crisp sound, Wang Lan's sword was instantly broken by CSCC. Ding-dang! The broken sword fell to the ground. Wang Lan looked at CSCC in shock. She did it. Not only did she overcome her fear of death, but she also could perfectly use her astral powers in basic physical skills. Also, CSCC's state just now was very strange. When his sword was about to cut down, Wang Lan clearly felt that CSCC's expression was not one of fear, calmness, or restraint. Instead, it was excitement? How could she be excited over this? CSCC's face was stunned. Then, it instantly turned into ecstasy. A bright smile bloomed on CSCC's face. Wang Lan. I did it. I really did it. I'm not afraid anymore. Suddenly, CSCC threw Wang Lan onto the ground. She pressed down on Wang Lan's body like a mountain. Then, she bent down and kissed Wang Lan's face crazily. Cough cough, a light cough sounded. Wang Lan and CSCC were so scared that they instantly separated. Jiang Xinyu walked over slowly with an indifferent expression. Xinyu. Wang Lan and I are not what you think I saw it all. Jiang Xinyu's tone was a little forced. Although she did see it. CSCC had been so excited that she had pounced on Wang Lan. She had only kissed Wang Lan to vent the ecstasy in her heart. But if Jiang Xinyu hadn't appeared, there would have been heavenly thunder and earthly fire. I was wondering why your combat skills had grown so abnormally. So it's because you have a personal trainer. Jiang Xinyu came to the side of the battle stage and looked at Wang Lan with her chin propped up. You two are crazy. One dares to attack and the other dares to let you attack? What if something happens? It's okay. Wang Lan classmate knows how to heal himself. CSCC quickly defended Wang Lan. Healing isn't omnipotent. If you had dodged a little later, I would have cut off your head. What's the use of healing then? Can his head be reattached? Just now. It was just an accident. Wang Lan also felt that it was indeed a little dangerous just now, but his method was successful. It was right. Cici, take a break, Jiang Xinyu said to CSCC as she slowly unzipped her jacket and climbed into the ring. The meaning of this was very clear. But Wang Lan was a little scared. When they were sparring in school, Wang Lan was still able to firmly suppress Jiang Xinyu. But now, Jiang Xinyu's posture clearly showed that she didn't intend to spar. Wang Lan had seen how terrifying Jiang Xinyu was when she was serious. Moreover, Wang Lan's impression of Jiang Xinyu had always been that she was a fierce person. Once she showed up at home, ghosts and gods would retreat. Jiang Xinyu went to the weapon rack and pulled out an 8-sided Han sword. She lightly swung it, indicating that it was easy to use. What are you still standing there for? This. Xinyu, shouldn't I take a break too? You don't look like you need to rest. Stop talking nonsense, use Ghost Weep. Are you serious? Yes. If you don't want to kill me, I will kill you. In an instant, a chill rose from Wang Lan's tailbone. At this moment, in Wang Lan's eyes, the 8-sided Han sword in Jiang Xinyu's hand was no longer an 8-sided Han sword, but a shining hatchet. You can fight with CSCC like this? Why are you hesitating against me? Do you think that you can kill me with a single strike before I can even avoid my vitals? That's not what I meant. Fine. Wang Lan helplessly took out Ghost Weep and slowly pulled it out. If he didn't accompany Jiang Xinyu today for real, she might not let Wang Lan off. Swish! Suddenly, Jiang Xinyu's figure flashed and appeared in front of Wang Lan. She stabbed her sword towards Wang Lan's heart. Wang Lan reacted instantly. Ghost Weep let out a ghostly wail and howl, and deflected Jiang Xinyu's sword. There was a fundamental difference between sword and saber technique. Sword techniques were not as fierce as saber technique. It was about technique. Sword techniques were more elegant and beautiful than saber technique. It was also several times more difficult to cultivate. From all aspects, it was much more difficult to cultivate a sword art than a saber art. Saber techniques were easy to cultivate and the moves were simple. Sword techniques required comprehension and talent. However, even though sword techniques were difficult to cultivate, the growth of sword techniques was not something that saber techniques could compare to. Saber techniques were easy to learn but difficult to master. When using a saber to kill an enemy, it would be fine if the enemy's vitals were hit. However, if the enemy's vitals were not hit, they might still be alive after 10 hits. However, if they were stabbed by a sword, they might die on the spot. If you had the conditions to cultivate sword techniques and the talent to use a good sword, your sword techniques would definitely be better than your saber technique. To put it in the most vulgar way, the harder it was to learn, the more useful it would be. Sword, from the beginning, gave up on defense. Sword, from the beginning, was to kill with one move. Therefore, the battle between Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu was not as intense as the battle between him and Xie. However, it was several times more dangerous. Xie, who was watching the battle from the side, finally understood how Jiang Xinyu felt when she was hiding in the dark. She was afraid and trembling. She wished she could close her eyes and not watch. However, she was also extremely worried. She could only watch the two of them fight to the death several times without blinking. In front of Wang Lan, it was as if there was an enemy who really wanted to kill him. In front of Jiang Xinyu, Wang Lan's sword was also merciless. However, only a merciless enemy could make Jiang Xinyu discover the flaw in his sword technique. Wang Lan instantly stabbed with his sword, and his body instantly moved forward. This timing was the moment when Jiang Xinyu changed her move. She left Wang Lan with a flaw of about 0.2 seconds. When Jiang Xinyu planned to use her sword to help, Wang Lan's sword was faster than her by a bit. Blood bloomed. Ghost Weep stabbed into Jiang Xinyu's shoulder and went half an inch into her flesh. This was also because Wang Lan stopped in time. Wang Lan quickly pulled out his sword and pressed his palm on Jiang Xinyu's shoulder. At this moment, Jiang Xinyu was frowning. She kept recalling the scene when Wang Lan stabbed her with his sword. This move had a flaw, and it was an unavoidable flaw. She had never noticed it before. However, today she found it in a real battle. Only when she found the flaw could she fill it. At this moment, Jiang Xinyu was very glad that she had not encountered a sword expert in the previous battles. Otherwise, the flaw in her sword techniques would have consigned her to eternal damnation. As she thought about it, Wang Lan had already healed her injuries. "Are you okay? Are you angry?" Wang Lan asked carefully. Jiang Xinyu came back to her senses and shook her head. "It seems that this kind of battle is indeed necessary. I have practiced this move for so many years and used it so many times. However, I have never noticed that the movement was actually reversed or changed. If you did not find this flaw, I would have died from this move sooner or later." Ancient martial arts have been passed down from generation to generation. Some have been refined, some have been tampered with. The sword techniques that you have learned may not be correct. But then again, the sword techniques were created by others, but you used them. I still think that the higher realm of sword techniques is to have no move. Instinctive reaction, instantly subduing the enemy. I have never practiced sword technique. All I know are the basic sword moves. However, the basic sword moves are not at a disadvantage against you. Can you guess whether my next move will be a stab or a flick? My sword moves are the way to defeat the opponent. Sword moves are sometimes very tricky. It can indeed be unexpected and catch the opponent off guard. However, this can only be considered as unconventional. I prefer the brilliant and righteous path. No moves. Jiang Xinyu chewed on these two words. Her eyes kept flashing. The more she chewed on these two words, the more interesting they became. However, she could not understand them further. "Tell me in detail, what is no moves?" Wang Lan forgot that there were no martial arts novels in this world because of the existence of Takashi Hoshi. However, Takashi Hoshi novels were rampant. They were also about a legendary Takashi Hoshi who rose step by step from being insignificant. This was the difference in cultural connotation. In his previous life, everyone could talk about the three realms of sword technique. However, the people in this world had never heard of or thought about it. Thinking of this, Wang Lan slowly turned his back and looked into the distance. There are three realms of sword technique. The first realm is the sword technique realm. Painstakingly practice sword techniques and strive for perfection. One person painstakingly practices without fear of cold or heat. After success, one can conquer the world. However, people do not grow. Water is impermanent. No matter how proficient, exquisite, and smooth your sword techniques are, there will always be flaws. There is no perfect sword technique in the world. As long as it is a technique, it will be broken by others. Therefore, the second realm of sword techniques was derived. No moves. First, practice all the moves and understand sword technique. Then, forget all the moves you have learned. Forgetting is not really forgetting, but completely breaking down the sword moves into instinct. In the face of different situations and different enemies, one can adapt according to the situation. There are no fixed moves or fixed routines. When even you don't know what the next move is, how can the enemy know? This realm is the same as our bare-handed combat. Isn't bare-handed combat about not having moves and only having ways to defeat the enemy? As long as you can defeat the enemy, anything can be a move. The third realm was the swordless realm. Without a sword in hand, everything in the world can be a sword. A lifetime of sword techniques focuses on the sword intent. The intent comes before the sword. After reaching this realm, you are an unsheathed sword. Whether you are holding a knife, a spear, a sword, a halberd, or a brick in your hand, everything can be used as a sword to kill the enemy. However, this realm is very mysterious. I can't understand it. You may be very far from this realm. However, your sword techniques have reached a certain level. You can consider the realm of no moves. When you have completely understood the core of no moves, all the moves in the world will be flaws in your eyes. Jiang Xinyu looked at Wang Lan in shock. If she didn't understand, she would be confused. But it was because she understood that she was shocked. This theory had never been mentioned by any great master before. Moreover, as a senior swordsman who had cultivated sword techniques for 8 years, if there was a set of basic theories in the world of sword techniques, there was no reason for her not to know. There was only one explanation that Jiang Xinyu didn't know. This theory had never been published. These three realms were comprehended by you? How is that possible? Wang Lan quickly shook his head. I haven't even reached the realm of sword techniques. How can I comprehend these? Jiang Xinyu's eyes flashed. She understood. This theory might have been comprehended by Sir Yen Emperor. Although she had never heard that Yen Emperor knew how to use a sword, she was Yen Emperor. Shouldn't Yen Emperor be proficient in everything? In an instant, Jiang Xinyu looked at Wang Lan with eyes full of gratitude. Wang Lan had actually handed over his family's secret, such a precious theory to her. He didn't treat her as an outsider. Don't worry. I won't disappoint your kind intentions. My kind intentions? Wait, Xinyu, are you misunderstanding something? If I say so, then so be it. I won't accept any rebuttal. The queen is mighty. What else could Wang Lan do? With this temper, he was destined to be a Buddha for the rest of his life. Chapter 121. Late at night, Jiang Xinyu asked the chauffeur to pick her up and send Xie home. The next day was Saturday. Not only did Xie come, but so did Jiang Xinyu. Even Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu came. Lan Zi, you're not being kind. Gong Feiyu put his arm around Wang Lan's shoulder. With such a good cultivation method, why are you secretly taking care of squad leader Xie? You don't treat us as brothers. This is a classic example of caring for the opposite sex over humanity. When Lan Zi first awakened, how did the brothers take care of you? There were 3 kings, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. What about now? You have such a good cultivation method, but you only care about taking care of girls. You don't think about us at all. Are you sure it's 3 kings and 1 bronze? Wang Lan looked at Su Xiangwen in disdain. Besides, do you think this cultivation method only has advantages and no disadvantages? What disadvantages? If we get beaten up by you, we'll hate you? You're thinking too much. Based on our relationship as brothers, even if you break my 3rd leg, I'll still. Just fix it for me. What are you thinking? Do you think I have unlimited healing power? It's easy to heal 1, and barely enough to heal 2. But now it's the 4 of you, okay? Everything else aside, I don't have enough healing power. This was indeed a very realistic problem. Wang Lan's healing skill would consume 3 times more energy to heal others than to heal himself. In terms of star power recovery speed, it would take at least an hour to recover star power for 1 healing session. These days, he had been taking care of CSCC with ease. Yesterday, he felt that it was difficult to take care of CSCC and Jiang Xinyu. Now that there were 4 of them, Wang Lan felt that he might be squeezed dry. To replenish star power, one could buy soul orbs, but the price of soul orbs outside was 80,000 each. Not many people could afford it. In the trial field, soul orbs could be bought at will. Outside, only the richest people could buy them. It's not a big deal. Jiang Xinyu walked over and casually threw a cloth bag in front of Wang Lan. There are 10 soul beads inside. That should be enough, right? Damn, Xinyu, you're still the best. I only brought 3. Su Xiangwen immediately gave her a thumbs up. I also brought 3. Gong Feiyu rubbed his wrist. Who am I going to fight with? Of course, it's Lao Su. Why would it be me? Wang Lan said matter-of-factly. I'll fight with Cici today. Jiang Xinyu didn't even try to negotiate with Wang Lan and made a domineering decision. Wait, Xinyu, you're talking about actual combat. You and squad leader Xie? Su Xiangwen suddenly shouted. That's right. Why? Do you still think that Cici is weak? Why don't you do it? I guarantee that you'll be beaten until you can't differentiate reality. Are you exaggerating? Su Xiangwen said that he didn't believe it, but his expression showed that he did. Jiang Xinyu usually didn't joke around. She was serious when she said most of the time. You guys should start barehanded. It's a warm-up. Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu sat down below the ring and watched the fight. The 2 women on the ring were both wearing tight short-sleeved shirts and hot pants. They were a beautiful sight just by standing there. Wang Lan acted as the referee and played with a coin on his fingertip. He gently tossed it into the air. Ding! The moment the coin landed on the ground, the 2 figures instantly flashed and engaged in battle. Jiang Xinyu's fighting style was flexible. It was both skillful and beautiful. CSCC's fighting style was simple and direct. If Jiang Xinyu was a gentle fist, CSCC was an explosive fist. But no matter how different the styles of their moves were, they were as fast as lightning. This exchange of blows was an all-out showdown. Su Xiangwen, who was watching from the sidelines, was dumbfounded. His dumbfounded expression lasted for half a minute. Wang Lan came to Su Xiangwen's side and patted Su Xiangwen's shoulder. How's it going? I might not be able to beat her. Su Xiangwen smiled bitterly after he came back to his senses. Even Xinyu and I can't beat her, let alone you. Really? Gong Feiyu was surprised. You and Xinyu are the best in barehanded combat in the entire campus. You don't believe me? You can just continue watching. Jiang Xinyu was able to fight CSCC on par because CSCC hadn't used her original secret technique. Integrating star power into combat required extremely high control of star power and the ability to synchronize 2 CPUs without interfering with each other. It was like a person singing a duet. Normal people definitely couldn't do it. From this point of view, CSCC was no longer a normal person. Sure enough, as CSCC became more and more excited and fought more and more wildly, star power surged around her. It was as if her body was wrapped in a layer of star power. CSCC became faster and faster, and the strength of her fists became stronger and stronger. Soon, Jiang Xinyu was completely suppressed by CSCC, just like how she suppressed Wang Lan last time. 5 minutes later, Jiang Xinyu's line of defense suddenly collapsed. CSCC instantly grasped Jiang Xinyu's weakness and launched a fierce attack. F***CK, Su Xianwen suddenly jumped up. Stop, stop. CSCC stopped, and Jiang Xinyu hurriedly took 3 steps back. Her face was visibly swollen. However, Jiang Xinyu gave Su Xianwen a sharp look. Who told you to stop? You didn't stop? Did you want me to watch you get beaten up? Only in great danger can you realize great things and make great breakthroughs. With Wang Lan here, I won't be beaten to death. You're not allowed to stop next time. Jiang Xinyu emphasized with a serious face. This is also the true meaning of battle training. Otherwise, what's the difference between this and normal sparring? Su Xianwen understood that, but this was too tragic. Wang Lan jumped off the stage after healing Jiang Xinyu. Ladies, this way please. If you want to fight or use weapons, feel free. I have both in my weapon rack. I guarantee that they're all real weapons. Su Xianwen looked at the 2 crazy women fighting on the stage and gulped. Feiyu, are we really going to fight? What's there to be afraid of? Come on. Either I kill you or you kill me. Carrying out this kind of life-risking battle training was a great challenge to one's mental endurance. Almost unable to bear it, they had to rest for a while and then continue. In this way, everyone felt like they were dancing on top of the King of Hell's head for the whole day. Punching and kicking was just a warm-up. Fighting with real swords and spears was the main course. Su Xianwen counted that he had been cut by Gong Feiyu about 25 times today. Gong Feiyu was even more unlucky and was cut by him 30 times. After all, Su Xianwen was a close combat fighter, while Gong Feiyu was an earth mage. As for Jiang Xinyu and CSCC almost perfectly suppressed Jiang Xinyu. The total number of injuries Jiang Xinyu suffered in one day was more than all the injuries she had suffered since she became a Takashi Hoshi. If it weren't for Wang Lan's protection, Jiang Xinyu wouldn't have been in the hospital for a month. However, the results of this day's training were indeed obvious. Although outsiders couldn't feel it, they could clearly feel it. The group of 5 met up almost every day at Wang Lan's house to train. Either Wang Lan would fight Su Xianwen and Jiang Xinyu, or Jiang Xinyu would fight them. After beating the 2 of them until they doubted their lives, Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu were beaten up by CSCC. Ever since CSCC's conception and governor vessels were opened, her combat ability was probably unrivaled in the entire Takashi Hoshi campus, even if the instructors and teachers were included. Time flew by and there were always no words. When you realized it, it was already far away. The final exams of the first half of the 3rd year of high school came quietly. Half of the 3rd year of high school had passed. Exams were never a problem for Wang Lan. However, the only regret was that Wen and Wu didn't get first place in both exams. As for CSCC, this girl who was seriously biased and neglected by everyone, after accumulating for 2.5 years, she completed the last step of transformation and completely broke through the cocoon to become a butterfly. She ranked 7th in the liberal arts exam and 8th in the martial arts exam. If not for the fact that CSCC's Takashi Hoshi was only at the peak of the heavenly body tier, it wouldn't be difficult for her to break into the top 5. When these results were released, it almost caused a riot in the entire school. It was fine that Wang Lan appeared. Although Wang Lan was only at the middle stage of star glory and entered the top 5 of the year. However, Wang Lan had dominated for 9 years with the title of prodigy. The students in Takashi Hoshi campus were somewhat immune to this kind of monster. However, you, a guy whose name no one remembered before, an ordinary female student at the late stage of the heavenly body tier, directly soared from the 150th place in the entire year to the 7th place in the entire year? Was this scientific? Was it reasonable? However, the answer given by the school was completely reasonable, and the exam results were not tampered with at all. After 2 days of chaos, it stopped. Because it was the holidays. Sinew Building, underground training room. The 5 people who were soaked in sweat lay in the 4 corners of the arena and panted without caring about their image. Cece, are you a little too excited today? 1 against 4. I, Su Xiangwen, am willing to call you the wildest woman. This is the first time I got such a high ranking, shouldn't I be excited? After getting familiar with the 4 people, Cece seemed to have blended in with them. She spoke more casually and joked without any restrictions. Cece's lips curled into a sexy smile. Ever since Wang Lan overcame her psychological barrier, Cece seemed to have become more and more unrestrained. Her wildness was tinged with the scent of blood. It was fascinating but also irresistible. Using Gong Feiyu's description, one could not help but want to get closer. However, after getting closer, one could not help but maintain a safe distance. Because they were too close, they could be stabbed into a bloody mess at any time. Cece, don't get carried away. Wang Lan could not help but remind her, the school exam only tests liberal arts and hand-to-hand combat. You're good at these 2 things. However, in terms of strength, you might not even be in the top 10 of the class, let alone the whole grade. I know. Cece was a very disciplined and mature woman. Therefore, she understood Wang Lan's meaning. Her astral power was only at the heavenly body tier. The Takashi Hoshi skills she mastered were nothing other than her innate ability to control water. However, Takashi Hoshi skills were the true embodiment of a Takashi Hoshi's combat power. Not to mention others, just Maigatsuk Castle. If he really wanted to show his strength, no one in the class could guarantee that they could last 3 minutes against him. Maigatsuk Castle's family illusion skills could kill you with just a glare. The other children of the Takashi Hoshi family all mastered at least 3 A-level Takashi Hoshi skills. Cece fought with them? How? After 1 Takashi Hoshi skill, Cece was defeated. Although she could defeat Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu in the ring, Cece could not hold on for long if the 2 of them used Takashi Hoshi skills. This was the real gap. Chapter 122. Winter vacation has already started. After resting for a while, Jiang Xinyu suddenly said. Everyone suddenly froze, but in just a second, they instantly understood. This was already planned, and it was also what Jiang Xinyu had promised during the summer vacation. There are still 14 days until the new year. Tomorrow, we'll rest for a day and prepare. The day after tomorrow, we'll head to the intermediate trial field in Taoyuan district. Understood. Okay. Wang Lan smiled and didn't say anything. Cece, who was leaning against Jiang Xinyu, slightly lowered her head, and a trace of disappointment flashed across her face. Even if she wanted to go in, she didn't have the money. She only had 500,000 right now, and the intermediate trial field was 100,000 a day. 10 days would be $1 million, and she couldn't afford it. Cece, why don't you come with us? Jiang Xinyu's following words made Cece suddenly raise her head, and a stunned expression appeared on her face. She didn't dare to believe it, but she was also pleasantly surprised. Cece, I rejected you last time because it was too dangerous for you to enter the trial field with your strength. But now your strength has already reached the professional level. As long as you follow our team closely, we can still take care of your safety. I understand, Wang Lan already explained it to me. It's just, how many days do you want to go in? 10 days. If it's 10 days, I don't have enough money. Chade Su Xiangwen clicked his tongue. You don't have to worry about money. With the few of us around us, which one of us lacks this little bit of money? It's fine, we'll go out. That won't do. CSCC quickly shook her head. That's $1 million, it's not a small amount. Even if you treat me as a friend, that won't do. I can't afford it. It's fine, Cece. Last time you told me you had 500,000, right? If you take out 500,000, I'll pay you 500,000. When we get soul beads inside, you can pay me with soul beads. This okay. Although CSCC felt that she was taking advantage of Wang Lan, she could reluctantly accept it. Since they had decided to go to the training field, Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu quickly left home to prepare. Wang Lan felt that there was nothing to prepare. He just needed to bring Ghost Weep. Just as he was about to continue training with Jiang Xinyu and CSCC to earn some skill points, Jiang Xinyu rolled her eyes at Wang Lan. She pulled CSCC along and said that she wanted to go shopping. Shopping? Was it helpful in increasing one's strength? The answer was obviously no. Since there was no help, what was the point of shopping? You guys go. Wang Lan, I love studying the most. This time, let alone Jiang Xinyu, even CSCC looked at Wang Lan as if she had seen a ghost. It had been almost 20 years. How could such a creature still exist in this world? 2 days later, Wang Lan drove himself to the entrance of the intermediate training field in Taoyuan district. When Wang Lan arrived, Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu had already booked a table at the barbecue restaurant. Oh? Our old antique has finally gotten it together today? You know how to drive your family's luxury car out for a spin? Don't you like electric scooters and public buses? Su Xiangwen had been drooling over the 4 luxury cars in Wang Lan's garage for a long time. However, Wang Lan was very protective of them. He didn't even let Su Xiangwen touch them, let alone lend them to him to drive. These 4 cars were all custom-made. There was no similar model on Sky Blue Planet. Moreover, even with Su Xiangwen's experienced eyes, he couldn't tell which company these cars came from. Aren't you afraid of the wind? Why don't you build me a subway or give me a bus to this place? If I don't drive, am I supposed to walk? Xinyu hasn't arrived yet? She said she'll be here in 20 minutes, but… Su Xiangwen's expression suddenly changed. What's wrong? When I called, I heard Xinchen's voice. That means she hasn't left yet. 20 minutes. Ouch. It was a 42-kilometer journey. 20 minutes would be enough for 100 yards. However, considering that she had to go downstairs, start the engine, and turn on the traffic lights, that would be terrifying. No wonder Su Xiangwen sucked in a breath of cold air. Jiang Xinyu wanted to go 200 yards. While Wang Lan and the other 2 were chatting, a red sports car sped over from afar like a wild horse. With a beautiful drift, the sports car parked perfectly in the parking space. The door opened, and Jiang Xinyu and CSCC got out of the car. It was obvious that CSCC's steps were a little light. Wang Lan said that he completely understood. He had been like this last time. Morning. Jiang Xinyu greeted the 3 of them with a smile on her face. Morning, my foot. Wang Lan retorted. You exceeded the speed limit again, didn't you? There weren't many cars on this road. The speed limit was completely unnecessary. I think that letting you get a driver's license was completely unnecessary. He looked at CSCC, whose cheeks were still red. You weren't scared, were you? No. Ha. Jiang Xinyu sneered. Do you have some misunderstanding about Cece? Not only was she not scared, she even asked me to drive faster. Her expression wasn't because she was scared, but because she was excited. Wang Lan believed her, because when CSCC was excited, even Wang Lan was scared. The training field opens at 9. There are still 20 minutes before it opens. Have you ordered? We ordered a long time ago. Su Xiangwen reached out his hand and snapped his fingers. The waiter quickly arranged for the dishes to be served. Everyone was given a plate of barbecued meat. There was a piece of toast the size of a piece of bread. It was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. We've already agreed that Feiyu and I will pay for the cost of entering this time. I'm $250, he's $250. You're the 250. Gong Feiyu was so angry that he wanted to kill this guy with a fork. CSCC looked up. I brought the money. Didn't we agree last time? That's so troublesome. We'll just pay. As for what we agreed on last time, we'll settle it after we come out. But I brought the money, CSCC said as she raised the cute canvas bag in her hand. The canvas bag was very big. Maybe it was a trend. But in the next moment, Wang Lan and the other two stopped what they were doing. Don't tell me you brought 500,000 yuan in cash? I don't have a bank card, and all the money I earn is in cash. Lan Zi, you found your own kind. They're all primitive people who transmigrated here. What era is it now? You still bring cash. Forget it, there are storage cabinets in the trial field. Just put them in the storage cabinet. It's not safe to put them in the car. Oh! CSCC nodded obediently. She was so cute that Jiang Xinyu wanted to pinch her. 20 minutes passed quietly. Wang Lan and the other four stood up and walked to the intermediate trial field. 5 people, 10 days. 5 million, a lean young man said indifferently. Card or QR code? Card. Brother Wang Lan. Suddenly, the other party noticed Wang Lan standing behind Gong Feiyu and immediately called out. Wang Lan looked up. He looked familiar, but he couldn't remember his name. But he already knew you. Wouldn't it be rude if you didn't respond? Who are you? Who are you? If you don't know who I am, why are you acting like you know me? I'm that unlucky guy who had an arm chopped off and lost it. You're the one who brought me back. As he spoke, the thin man suddenly stood up and saluted Wang Lan. 2nd Lieutenant Gu Jia of the True Martial Group's 3rd Battalion. Wang Lan quickly returned the salute. 2nd Lieutenant Gu, I'll definitely remember you in the future. How would I remember the situation at that time? Understood. You're with them? And beep beep beep, debit successful. 2 million. The 5 of them looked at Gu Jiao with a face full of question marks. Brother Wang Lan enters the intermediate trial field for free. His friends get a 50% discount. This isn't against the rules, right? Of course not. This is the order of the regiment. Brother Wang Lan, with your strength, I won't waste any more words. Be careful. I wish you all a rewarding journey. Thank you. After changing into their combat uniforms, the 5 of them gathered together. We haven't been to the intermediate trial field before, so we're not familiar with the terrain and exotic beasts. What exotic beasts should we choose? Gong Feiyu asked first. There are a few key points. Large quantities, good at close-range combat, earth and water. Are there any candidates? Wang Lan asked. Large quantities didn't need to be explained, but there weren't many exotic beasts in the tribe. It would be a waste of time to go. Good at close-range combat didn't need to be said. Of the 5 people in the team, only Jiang Xinyu had long-range combat ability. Gong Feiyu's earth element was at most a restraining ability. This wasn't the elementary trial field. Nebula individuals could appear at any time among the exotic beasts. Jiang Xinyu's strength couldn't form an absolute suppression on the exotic beasts. Ordinary exotic beasts might be mostly trash at the peak of the heavenly body tier, but there were quite a few star-blazing beasts. All in all, the difficulty was at least twice as high as the elementary trial field. Got it, Diamond Mantis. Diamond Mantis, located in the Ore Mountain area. They mainly feed on ores and are metal-attributed exotic beasts. Because they eat ores for a long time, their bodies will become metallized. However, this metallization isn't active. It's the accumulation of the metal element that causes the armor to turn. Their joints and the gaps in the deck on their abdomen are their weaknesses. Diamond Mantis' main means of attack are their forelimbs, mantis blades, and their terrifying huge jaws. Moreover, Diamond Mantis is extremely fast and has the ability to fly for short distances at low altitude. Ordinary Diamond Mantis don't have elemental attack abilities, but mutated Diamond Mantis can still launch other elemental attack. Any elemental attack is possible. Diamond Mantis has high attack, high defense, and high agility. Ordinary Takashi Hoshi don't want to provoke them. Damn, I told you to choose, and you chose this kind of trash? Wang Lan looked at Su Xiangwen speechlessly and asked. Although Diamond Mantis looks very strong, its flaws are also very obvious. Just the fact that it has very few elemental attacks is very suitable for our hunting standard. In our team, there are 3 people who specialize in physical skills. One is a strong DPS, one is a reconnaissance type, and one is a group control type. I don't think we'll have any problems fighting Diamond Mantis. Gong Feiyu analyzed. Then it's decided. Jiang Xinyu snapped her fingers the moment Gong Feiyu finished speaking. The team quickly rushed to where Diamond Mantis was. It was 18 kilometers away from the entrance of the trial field. Even if they rushed at full speed, it would take at least 40 minutes. Are you nervous? Wang Lan asked CSCC softly. No. I'm not nervous. I feel that my condition has never been better. Later, follow me closely. You must not be more than 3 meters away from the team. This is the intermediate trial field, and it's our first time here. Jiang Xinyu continued. Chapter 123. Soon, the 5 of them arrived at the location of the King Kong mantis. Normally speaking, mantises should be jungle insects, and they should stay in the trees to hunt. But ultra beasts are not real insects. Even if they look similar to mantises, their habits are completely different. King Kong mantis are burrowing animals, and they dig for or underground to eat. But strangely, they don't like to stay underground. They prefer to bask in the sun. King Kong mantis are social animals, so when Wang Lan and the others chose a place to rest, they arrived at the King Kong mantis territory. As soon as they arrived, the King Kong mantis straightened their bodies and stared at Wang Lan and the other outsiders. It's still the same trick. Jiang Xinyu used a long-range attack to alarm the King Kong mantis. After attracting the monsters, they were sent away in one wave. Sure enough, under Jiang Xinyu's ice arrow, 12 King Kong mantis were attracted to them. When they ran, they flapped their wings, so their speed was very fast. The King Kong mantis attributes are too strong for me. I can only restrict their movement. Since Jiang Xinyu learned the new Takashi Hoshi skill, her strength has skyrocketed. It's impossible to say that she can't deal with the King Kong mantis. But the powerful Takashi Hoshi skill means a lot of energy consumption. If the target is too weak, using the powerful Takashi Hoshi skill is purely a waste. And restricting the King Kong mantis movement is equivalent to cutting off all the effective attack methods of the King Kong mantis. She placed the King Kong mantis on the chopping board and casually cut them. As soon as she finished speaking, Jiang Xinyu activated the Takashi Hoshi skill. The King Kong mantis were still fiercely charging, but suddenly a layer of frost appeared under their feet. Like a fly stuck to a fly, they couldn't move. The 12 King Kong mantis were frozen, and Wang Lan and the others rushed up in an instant. This time, Su Xiangwen didn't wield his two-handed sword. Instead, he instantly created 3 clones and rushed at the 4 King Kong mantis. Damn, you've mastered 3 clones in just 1 semester? Are you stupid? Did you forget that I was able to split into 2 last semester? Su Xiangwen said as he jumped onto the back of a struggling King Kong mantis. Raising his right hand, Wang Lan noticed that Su Xiangwen was wearing a metal glove. As Su Xiangwen raised his fist, a wave of astral power flowed out. He threw a punch at the King Kong mantis head. Boom! A loud explosion sounded, and Wang Lan looked at Su Xiangwen in surprise. Originally, he thought that the boxing gloves were only used to increase the strength of his fists. You're not using your sword to slash at an exotic beast whose head is covered in metal armor, but your fist instead? Now he understood that Su Xiangwen's gloves were only used to protect his fists. This semester, Wang Lan was not the only one who had made rapid progress. Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu had both learned the new Takashi Hoshi technique. The power of Su Xiangwen's punch alone was no less than that of a grenade. An ordinary King Kong mantis was only at the peak of the star realm or the early stage of the star glory stage, and their movements were restricted. Su Xiangwen's punch was enough to destroy the entire head of a King Kong mantis. The problem was that Su Xiangwen had 3 clones, and the 3 clones performed the Takashi Hoshi technique almost at the same time. With a boom, the 4 King Kong mantis heads were blown off almost at the same time. Damn, you're using such a powerful Takashi Hoshi technique right from the start? Aren't you worried about consuming your astral power? Gong Feiyu shouted. The astral power consumed can be replenished with 1 soul orb. I killed 4 in 1 move and earned 3 soul orbs. Isn't it worth it? Gong Feiyu, who was holding the King Kong mantis with his saber, thought it made sense. Then what was there to slash? He swung his saber, and his astral power surged. In an instant, the ground around him surged and swallowed the 4 King Kong mantis in front of him. Gong Feiyu put his hands together, and the 4 King Kong mantis instantly let out a shrill scream. They merged with the ground. The ground shook slightly, and the 4 soul orbs drilled out of the ground like rat. They're really fast. Looking at this scene, Wang Lan's heart was about to explode. Are these 2 guys showing off? They must be showing off, right? Did they ask for my permission to show off in front of me? Wang Lan immediately changed his strategy. The fiery saber in his hand rose with a whoosh. The purple flame saber had a flame of nearly 10,000 degrees. Wang Lan swept past the King Kong mantis in front of him like a gust of wind. Every time he brushed past the King Kong mantis, its head would fall off like a fruit being plucked. In an instant, the 4 King Kong mantis were beheaded. The 3 guys were showing off their skills, and they didn't care if CSCC could take it or not. And at this moment, CSCC clearly understood how far she was from Wang Lan and the others. Don't think that just because you were better in close combat, you were better in strength. With Takashi Hoshi's skills, CSCC would die with just a flick of his finger. I'm bitter, but I can't cry. CSCC knew that the reason for all this was the lack of resources. To be able to be brought into the intermediate training ground was already a blessing for CSCC. Fortunately, CSCC's saber was fast and steady. And CSCC had another skill. Her brother was a chef, and at home, he often taught CSCC how to cook. CSCC knew what kind of ingredients to cut from and where to cut quickly and accurately. So, CSCC's saber accurately pierced into the gap behind the King Kong mantis's head. With a forceful cut, the entire head fell down along the gap. It was so fast that the King Kong mantis didn't understand anything before it was already on the table. No, it was already dead. Even if the King Kong mantis's head was pressed back, you wouldn't be able to see any cuts. Killing one in 3 or 4 seconds, in addition to avoiding the King Kong mantis's saber and walking to a convenient place to cut, the speed of the saber was very fast. In just 3 minutes, the heads of the 4 King Kong mantis were all cut off. Collect the soul orbs. Wang Lan reminded from the side. CSCC also made the mistake he made the first time he came in, not knowing how to collect the soul orbs. Oh, CSCC quickly and accurately cut open the mantis's head. The King Kong mantis's head was about the size of a bowl, but the soul orb in such a small head was not small at all. She wondered if this thing's brain was the soul orb. You're much better than me. Back then, I took 7 or 8 minutes to kill 1 Ultra Beast, but you took 3 minutes to kill 4. Thank you, but this time it was Sinew who limited their movements. If we really fought, I might not even be able to defeat one. Don't be humble, you're only at the heavenly body tier. Heavenly body tier people would die even if they fought the most ordinary Ultra Beast. Not to mention the King Kong mantis is not an ordinary Ultra Beast. You too, don't you think so? What's wrong with these 2? According to their nature, they should have agreed by now. Why are they so quiet? Wang Lan turned around and saw the corner of Jiang Sinyu's mouth twitching slightly, as if she wanted to laugh but was forcefully holding it in. Wolf King. An extremely bitter voice sounded in his ear. Wang Lan turned around and saw Su Xiangwen's affectionate gaze, which made Wang Lan's heart skip a beat. F*ck, I'm not gay. Wang Lan hurriedly took a step back. Also, I can understand why you said it the wrong way, but I don't understand why you said it the wrong way. Can't you just talk straight? Wolf King. Wang Lan looked at Su Xiangwen's expression. It didn't seem like he was deliberately fooling around. He immediately showed a worried expression. Is there really something wrong with you? Try to say my name correctly. Wolf King. You're seriously sick. You're the one who's sick. I say, are you F*King Wolf King? My F*King name is Wang Lan, not Mist King. Hello, contestant Little Wolf. Nice to meet you. Gong Feiyu's voice sounded from behind. Wang Lan suddenly realized that Su Xiangwen didn't say his name the wrong way, but called him Wolf King. Wolf King was the name Wang Lan's fans on the internet called him. However, Wang Lan didn't care about this. After the Takashi Hoshi tournament ended, he didn't even read any news related to it on the internet. Moreover, he soon encountered the demon's spy. If Gong Feiyu didn't call him contestant Little Wolf, he would have forgotten about the Takashi Hoshi tournament. Since he didn't know that his nickname on the internet was Wolf King, he naturally didn't realize it immediately. I feel like there's something wrong with your eyes, Wang Lan said weakly as he watched the two people approaching him. Little Wolf, you've really hidden it well. Your acting skills are not bad, you're definitely a best actor. Remember when you fought with me for the title of Little Wolf, you acted like a Little Wolf fanboy. Lan Zi, do you know that the price of your head outside has already reached 8 million? Do I have to? I didn't want anyone to know my identity, so I participated in the tournament anonymously. Do they have nothing better to do? Whoever finds out your true identity will get an 8 million bonus. I really didn't expect that the poster I hung on the wall, the poster I looked at every night before I went to bed, was a brother I saw every day. You can't blame me for this. Wang Lan spread his hands. That's why I was wondering. Why does the Wolf King's graceful movements and sharp melee combat look so familiar? If it weren't for Wolf King's two superb Takashi Hoshi techniques, I would have beaten you. I don't believe it. When did you learn 2 grade A Takashi Hoshi techniques? Also, I've checked the internet. Your 2 grade A Takashi Hoshi techniques have already been trained to the advanced stage. F*ck. This doesn't make sense. Suddenly, Su Xiangwen shouted. Grade A Takashi Hoshi techniques require at least 5 years to fully master them. Unless it's advanced learning, it's impossible to master them without at least 5 years. It's only been half a year since you awakened your Takashi Hoshi talent. When you participated in the Takashi Hoshi tournament, you had only awakened it for 2 months. When did you learn them? I learned them after I came out of the beginner training field. What's so strange about that? Isn't it basic for me to learn quickly? Wang Lan looked at Su Xiangwen, who was about to collapse, with a matter-of-fact expression. Silly child, have you forgotten that I even learned grade S Takashi Hoshi techniques? This sentence seemed to drain the last bit of Su Xiangwen's soul. Su Xiangwen's expression turned into a statue. You forgot? Have you forgotten? Damn, I almost forgot. This is a completely perverted species, how could I have forgotten about it? But why do I want to strangle him? Grade A Takashi Hoshi techniques only took a few months to fully master them and even train them to the advanced stage. My Grade A Takashi Hoshi techniques only reached the beginner stage after half a year. That hurts. Gong Feiyu patted Wang Lan's shoulder lightly and said seriously. Chapter 124. In the beginning, it was quite easy to lure and kill the monsters. But after about 5 waves, the King Kong mantis started to be alert. Other than the ones that were frozen by Jiang Xinyu and unable to struggle, there were about 10 more that noticed the situation and came to help. The unrestricted King Kong Mantis combat power instantly skyrocketed. It was like the 18 bronze men formation with an invincible golden body. How to describe the King Kong Mantis close combat power? It was a peerless swordsman, and a peerless swordsman with 2 swords. Although the beasts didn't know any martial arts moves, the human martial arts moves were all learned from animals. In Wang Lan's opinion, the King Kong Mantis swordsmanship was the most original and most primitive killing swordsmanship. Fortunately, the 5-man team had been training in close combat for the past few days. Otherwise, normal people wouldn't be able to withstand the swordsmanship. Wang Lan's flaming blade had an indestructible sharpness. He was the most efficient at killing the King Kong Mantis. After the flaming blade leveled up to silver rank 9, his understanding of the flaming blade had reached a whole new level. The system's strengthening was all round. Even if the same Takashi Hoshi technique had been passed down for hundreds of years, the Takashi Hoshi technique might not have been fully developed. So when Wang Lan used the vertical flaming blade for the first time, even he Mingxue was so excited that he jumped up and exclaimed that Wang Lan really knew how to play. He could actually come up with such a creative move. But there was also something that the system couldn't strengthen, and that was actual combat experience. The silver rank 9 flaming blade had almost developed all the variations of the flaming blade to the extreme. But how to use these techniques required Wang Lan to figure it out himself. Now the opportunity had come. The 2-handed purple flame blade was no longer able to satisfy Wang Lan's creativity, which was like a wild horse out of control. Have you seen the sun ray wheel? The flaming blade in Wang Lan's hand was no longer triangular like the flame cutter spear. Instead, it had turned into a circle. The edge of the circle was like the sun in cartoons, with sawtooth protruding out. The sawtooth rotated at a high speed, and the cutting power reached a terrifying level. The sun ray wheel flaming blade grazed the heavily injured and killed. Su Xianwen and Gong Feiyu were deeply hurt by this scene. Everyone had practiced the A-rank Takashi Hoshi technique. While we were still learning how to imitate it, Wang Lan was already playing with it. When they found out that these were all Wang Lan's creative ideas, the 2 of them completely shut themselves up. There was no way for normal people to communicate with beasts. CSCC, who was following closely behind Wang Lan, said, "Is it okay for you guys to be so devastated? I haven't even said anything yet." The team had been trying their best to take care of CSCC, not only to ensure her safety, but also to ensure her combat opportunities. Every time a wave of exotic beasts attacked, Wang Lan and the others would leave a King Kong Mantis to CSCC. The King Kong Mantis was so good. It was so obedient and did not know how to use magic attack. His attacks were all in close combat. It was so cute, taller than a person, with 2 2-meter-long swords, egg-sized eyes, a coconut-sized head, and a body that emitted a black metallic glow. Wasn't this meant to be a training partner for a Takashi Hoshi like CSCC, who only had the ability to fight in close combat? CSCC's combat talent was completely unleashed in the battle with the King Kong Mantis. It wasn't that CSCC's strength had skyrocketed again, but that CSCC's state was rapidly changing. In the past, CSCC would be afraid and terrified whenever she encountered close combat. But ever since Wang Lan broke it, it seemed that she had broken it a little too much, and it had turned to the other extreme. The more danger she was in, the more excited she was. To put it in a more flirtatious way, she liked the thrill of dancing on the head of the King of Hell. Dancing among swords could make her happy. CSCC's tactics were getting bolder and bolder. There were even a few times when she scared Wang Lan so much that his heart almost jumped out. How fast was the King Kong Mantis's sword? You still dared to dance with the King Kong Mantis face to face, and even had the mood to drill under the King Kong Mantis's abdomen to see which part of it was easy to cut? Did you really think that the King Kong Mantis was an ingredient on your chopping board? In this regard, Wang Lan sternly criticized CSCC. But Cece, who was in an excited state, was too enchanting. She stuck out her tongue and licked the corner of her mouth, and Wang Lan's legs almost couldn't stand straight. With another coquettish sentence, the two-handed sword on Su Xiangwen's back became like noodles. But he had to admit that the more excited Cece was, the crazier she was. And the crazier she was, the stronger she was, and the more stable her performance was. So Wang Lan even felt that Cece's previous test of taking tranquilizers was wrong. She should have taken a caddy of ergotu. The second time they entered the training field as a team, not only did Wang Lan see the different degrees of danger in the two training fields, but it also allowed Wang Lan to see the rapid improvement of the others. An intense and exciting day passed by unknowingly. Wang Lan's team of 5 returned to the cave they had chosen earlier to rest. The bonfire was lit, and the 5 of them gathered around the bonfire to count the day's harvest. 360. 400. I only got 100. Cece said with some grievance after she finished counting the soul orbs. The difference was too big. This 100 soul orb was mostly the harvest from killing the King Kong mantis that Jiang Xinyu had frozen. Cece probably didn't even kill 30 King Kong mantis alone. Cece, it's not bad. Jiang Xinyu comforted her softly. Think about it. An average Takashi Hoshi team might not even be able to earn 300 soul orbs in 10 days. You earned 100 in 1 day, that's already very impressive. Are the other Takashi Hoshi teams all so useless? Wang Lan asked with a look of surprise. Jiang Xinyu immediately rolled her eyes at Wang Lan. This guy was getting more and more irritating. Wang Lan, I feel that your understanding is very different from ours. As a brother, I have to correct you. I feel that a lot of things that you take for granted are actually things that can scare people to death outside. For example, our harvest today. I got 360, and Flying Feathers got 400. But this is already the harvest of the other Takashi Hoshi teams in 5 or 6 days. Some teams might not even be able to collect it in 10 days. Why? Are they too weak? That can't be right. The entry requirement for the intermediate training field is that there must be a Nebula Takashi Hoshi in the team. A Nebula team with a few star blazing shouldn't be so weak, right? Do you have some kind of F***king misunderstanding about food? How can you raise the standards of food so unscrupulously? Look at our team. What kind of people are we? There are 5 in the team. 3 of us specialize in fighting, and although the other 2 aren't specialized in fighting, they're still at the peak of the professional level. Look at the team composition. There's a long-range mage type and a nebula mage type at that. There's also a long-range, unobstructed scout. There's a terrain control support, an extremely awesome healer, and a close combat specialization rookie. At the same time, you're a healer who can also be a melee fighter, a mage type who can also be a team control, a scout who can also be a tank, and a terrain control who can also be a shield. Can you understand what kind of godly team this is? There are 5 of us. 1 nebula and 4 star blazing. But which one of us is F***king normal? We're a 5-man team with a golden ratio, a peak combination. Exotic beasts aren't smart and don't know how to formulate targeted tactics. It's completely reasonable for us to display 7 or 8 times the combat strength of other teams, okay? Su Xiangwen was practically roaring, denouncing Wang Lan's shallow understanding. After Wang Lan heard this, he thought seriously for a while, and finally nodded in agreement. So, the other teams are still too weak, right? You win. Su Xiangwen powerlessly fell to the ground. Wang Lan, how much did you get today? Do you have any hope of breaking through Nebula this time? Jiang Xinyu suddenly asked. How's that possible? Wang Lan shook his head on the spot, but he was crying inside. Wang Lan's harvest today wasn't small, it really wasn't small. 700 soul orbs, 700 experience points. Among them, there was even a nebula mutated soul orb, the size of an egg. If he collected so many soul orbs in 1 day, and the output didn't decrease for 10 days, he would be able to reach Nebula. But Wang Lan's leveling conditions were different from others. What were soul orbs to Wang Lan? Skill points and blue potions. Everything else was worthless. Moreover, skill points didn't matter what level the soul orb was. F*CKU. Low-level and mid-level soul orbs were both worth 1 skill point. Wang Lan was so angry. The low-level soul orbs were all converted into skill points by Wang Lan, and he wasn't willing to part with this mid-level soul orb. The star power contained in it could instantly restore half of Wang Lan's blue bars. Have you rested enough? Do you want to start? Let's take a break, Jiang Xinyu said coldly. The mid-level trial field is much stronger than the low-level trial field, and it's a tough opponent like the King Kong Mantis. We still have 10 days, don't worry. Okay. Su Xianwen didn't say much and directly agreed. The goal this time was to help Gong Feiyu and Su Xianwen break through Nebula. The quality of soul orbs in the mid-level trial field was higher than that of the low-level trial field, and with the team's strength, it was more than enough. There was no need to tire themselves out. Cici, try and see if you can break through, Wang Lan suddenly said. Now! Cici couldn't believe it. She had 100 soul orbs in her hands, and during the whole day of fighting, she wasn't willing to absorb a single one. And the distribution of soul orbs was decided by the team leader, and it would be distributed at the last moment. So Cici didn't expect Wang Lan to let her break through now. The amount of star power needed to break through from the heavenly body tier to star blazing isn't much. 100 soul orbs should be more than enough. Your current realm is too low, and breaking through will increase your chances of survival. No one should object. Cici, try to break through now. If it's not enough, I still have 3 mid-level soul orbs. Jiang Xinyu's words moved Cici so much that she almost cried. She had always been alone in her cultivation. She had always moved forward alone. Because her actual combat strength was too weak, even her classmates from ordinary families weren't willing to cultivate with her. In the past, Cici had friends, but she didn't have any close friends. It was only after meeting Wang Lan that she felt that she was no longer alone in the world. She had companions she could trust, friends who truly cared about her, and a bestie who was indispensable as a girl. Thank you, Cici said and took out a soul orb from her tactical backpack. She wouldn't be as stupid as Wang Lan, who didn't even know how to absorb star power from a soul orb for the first time. Bang! A soft sound was heard and the soul orb exploded. Then, a soft sound was heard after a few seconds. After a minute, star power suddenly surged from Cici's body. This meant that the star power in the stars in the Star Palace had swelled and was beginning to break through the shackles of the heavenly body tier. Chapter 125. A surging wave of astral power hit her. It was similar to the wave of astral power when Wang Lan leveled up. No wonder people said that Wang Lan only leveled up in front of others. Why did others think that Wang Lan had a breakthrough? It seemed that this wave of astral power was the wave of a breakthrough. But they had indeed wronged Wang Lan. Wang Lan's level was not divided into early, middle, and late stages like other people. Instead, it was subdivided into 10 levels. He had to make 10 breakthroughs in each level. She felt tired just thinking about it. I'm such a low-key person, but you gave me such a high-profile setting. Cici let out a moan. In an instant, spiritual energy gathered above her head, and the gate of the Star Palace opened. A shining star shone brightly. Cici opened her eyes. She was a little confused and couldn't believe it. Did I break through star blazing? Yes, it's very beautiful. The smile on Wang Lan's face was very gentle, like a father's caring smile. She couldn't tell at all how ruthless he was when he trained her. Thank you. Thank you. Cici was so excited that she almost cried. She thanked Wang Lan, Jiang Xinyu, Su Xianwen, and Gong Feiyu. It was too difficult. It was too difficult for Takashi Hoshi from ordinary families. The social structure was very tight and the distribution of resources was already fixed. There were only two ways out for Takashi Hoshi from ordinary families. In fact, there was only one. Because if you were extremely talented and hardworking, you couldn't wait until you finished school and officially stepped into the world of Takashi Hoshi to show your talent. Ordinary geniuses would show their talents before they graduated from high school. Then, they would pass the college entrance examination and enter a first-class university. In the university, they would borrow the wind and soar into the sky. For Takashi Hoshi from ordinary families, they might only have two chances. If they missed both chances perfectly, it would be very difficult or almost impossible to rise again. And CSCC was at the edge of the cliff of the first chance. She was a genius, but she was a genius that was held back by her own flaws. Even though she had overcome her psychological barrier and her actual combat strength had soared to the level of a professional. However, because of her poor results, her rise in the last year was not enough for her to be chosen by Seibu Gakuen. Now, with the addition of star-blazing Takashi Hoshi's level, she wouldn't despair about the first opportunity that was right in front of her. This breakthrough changed the course of CSCC's life. You earned it through your own hard work. We'll rest here for a while and take turns to be on duty for 3 hours. After 6 hours, we'll set off again. CSCC's breakthrough did not increase her actual combat strength by much. She did not have any Takashi Hoshi skills, and her combat skills were still basic skills. However, her speed was much faster, and the power of her punches and kicks was much greater. 5 days passed quietly. Wang Lan's 5-man team seemed to have set their sights on the Diamond Mantis. They went all out on this tough bone that other Takashi Hoshi players thought was hard to chew. The more they fought with the Diamond Mantis, the more they felt that this exotic beast was good. Wang Lan's team of 5 were getting more and more comfortable cutting through the carapace that others thought was impenetrable. Even when the Diamond Mantis was moving, the 5 of them could instantly lock onto the gaps between the carapace and easily cut through it with their blades, performing master-level dismemberment. In these 5 days, close to 8,000 Diamond Mantis died at their hand. In these 5 days, Wang Lan's team of 5 advanced 10 kilometers, deep into the heart of the Diamond Mantis population. It couldn't be helped. They had killed all the Diamond Mantis outside. If it were any other elite team, even if they were all Nebula, they might not be able to kill half of them in 5 days. In these few days, many Takashi Hoshi teams came and went. In these 5 days, some tried to strike up a conversation, some tried to get close to take advantage of the situation, and some even tried to form a team with Wang Lan's team of 5 to farm monsters. However, they were all treated coldly by Wang Lan's team. Those who knew what was good for them left on their own accord, while those who didn't were afraid of Wang Lan's team's strength and left unwillingly. Perhaps it was because Wang Lan's team had been eating greasy food for the past few days, but about 200 meters away from Wang Lan's team, a team of Takashi Hoshi learned from Wang Lan's team's routine to farm Diamond Mantis. A routine was a routine, but it depended on who was using it. The other team had about 6 people, and after a day, they probably weren't even 1/5 of Wang Lan's team size. Even so, this was enough for Wang Lan to determine that this was an elite Takashi Hoshi team. The ones they met a few days ago lasted at most 4 hours. Once again returning to the cave to rest, Su Xiangwen was now like an old landlord, showing a Shiba Inu smile as he counted the soul orbs. 2,100 all high-quality beginner soul orbs. I have 1,800 here, Gong Feiyu said with a relaxed smile. I think it's enough, right? Wang Lan looked at the two and asked for their opinion. I think it should be enough. If it's not enough, I have 10 intermediate soul orbs here, and Wang Lan has 5, Jiang Xinyu said faintly. Then what are we waiting for? Su Xiangwen certainly understood what the two meant. Absorbing and breaking through. Wasn't this the purpose of coming to the intermediate trial field? Moreover, The increase in strength after breaking through to Nebula was completely different from Xing Chen's breakthrough to Star Flare. Xing Chen's Star Flare was still a low-level Takashi Hoshi. Nebula, on the other hand, was the backbone of the team. To be able to break through to Nebula in high school, one would be known as a genius no matter where they went. Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu began to break through, while Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu stood guard at the entrance. CSCC hesitated and wanted to go over, but in the end, she didn't. She silently leaned against the wall and closed her eyes. "You're a little vigilant today. Did you notice something?" Jiang Xinyu suddenly asked when they reached the entrance of the cave. "Was I that obvious?" Wang Lan looked at Jiang Xinyu in surprise. "Not at all. Normal people can't see it, but I can feel it. Do you remember the Takashi Hoshi team that was not far from us today?" "I remember. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with them?" Jiang Xinyu asked, puzzled. "This team is an elite team. Although their efficiency in killing the Diamond Mantis is not as good as ours, it can't be said that their strength is inferior to ours. It can only be said that they are not good at restraining exotic beasts like the Diamond Mantis. Their team has 6 people. 3 of them are long-range magic types, 2 of them are defense-type meat shields, and 1 of them is a control-type support. Is this team suitable for killing the Diamond Mantis?" Wang Lan asked with a smile. Jiang Xinyu thought for a while and shook her head. "No. This kind of pairing should be for exotic beasts with high damage but low defense. Although the Diamond Mantis is a defense-type exotic beast, they are all agile warriors and have the ability to fly. It seems like magic types have the advantage in long-range attacks, but once the Diamond Mantis gets close or attacks them in large numbers, they won't be able to resist. The Diamond Mantis is obviously not their cup of tea. They are all experienced Takashi Hoshi. There's no reason for them not to know." "So you think they're suspicious? Is that why you asked Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu to break through now?" "There's nothing wrong with being careful. Also, I noticed that they were looking at us more than usual today. They weren't learning how we killed the Diamond Mantis. Even if they learned how we killed the Diamond Mantis, they wouldn't be able to do it. Normal people would have changed places long ago." "Then, why don't we change places tomorrow? We're not familiar with other exotic beasts. There's a certain risk in rashly choosing an unfamiliar exotic beast. Also, the Diamond Mantis is very suitable. But tomorrow, we'll go around and hunt the Diamond Mantis. We're too deep into the hinterland. If someone ties our pockets outside, we'll be wrapped like dumplings." "Okay." As soon as he finished speaking, the spiritual energy fluctuations of Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu's breakthrough came from behind him. CSCC broke through from late-stage star glory to star blazing. 100 soul orbs were enough. But to break through from late-stage star glory to nebula, 1,000 soul orbs might not be enough. Therefore, among the freshmen in the country, apart from the Big Four Cebu Gakuen, most of the first-rate Cebu Gakuen students were star-blazing. Among these star-blazing students, there might be peerless geniuses who would soar to the sky after being discovered and trained by the school. Those who could reach nebula in high school were all aiming for the Big Four Cebu Gakuen. Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu broke through to nebula before the start of the last semester, which gave them the possibility of entering the Takashi Hoshi's paradise. The future opportunities of the Big Four Cebu Gakuen students were definitely enough to make people drool. Even Takashi Hoshi, who had climbed to the elite level, would be so jealous that their eyes would turn red. Boom! A roar rose from the top of their heads. Under the surge of star power, the star palaces above their heads slowly formed. In the star palaces, the stars danced like water vapor. A cluster of nebula turned into a vortex in their star palaces, rotating slowly and steadily. When Wang Lan and Gong Feiyu returned to the cave, Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu opened their eyes at the same time. Feeling the surge of star power in their bodies, the two couldn't help but smile. Originally, they wanted to pretend to be calm, and it would be best if they could act mysterious. But they couldn't suppress the joy in their hearts. Thinking back to when Jiang Xinyu broke through, she was full of pretentiousness. Sigh, I'm too weak. I wanted to be tense too, but in the end I still broke into a smile. Breaking through is such a happy thing, why don't you smile? Come on, let's laugh. Ha ha ha, good boy. Feiyu, Lan Zi doesn't seem to understand the situation. What do you think we should do? Let's teach him a lesson. Wait, what do you mean? Do I understand the situation? Lan Zi, I'm from Nebula. This is Comrade Gong Feiyu from Nebula. 2 Nebula bigwigs are in front of you, why don't you restrain your arrogant attitude? In the past, we might not be able to beat you, and you could insult us if you wanted, and we could tolerate being bullied by you. But now F***ck? Wang Lan's eyes widened in amazement. Isn't it just breaking through to Nebula? Look at how arrogant you are. I thought you broke through to the Star Sea realm. Feiyu, what if Lan Zi doesn't want to accept reality? What are you waiting for? Just beat him up. Gong Feiyu stood up with a whoosh. Hey, Su Xiangwen, Gong Feiyu. Seeing that the 3 of them were about to fight, CSCC quickly stood up and said nervously. Before she could say anything, Jiang Xinyu pulled CSCC's hand and stopped her. Let them be, these 3 idiots. Wang Lan didn't say anything else, and a purple flame saber appeared in his hands. This is called purple flame saber. His hands crossed, and a dying purple flame saber instantly appeared in front of Wang Lan, as cool as magic. This is called vertical flame saber. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Lan's hands instantly crossed in front of his chest again. This is called horizontal flame saber. At this moment, in front of Wang Lan, there was a purple flame saber crossed in front of him, and the temperature it emitted caused the space to distort. Cross-head saber. Which hero wants to try? F***ck. I've never seen such a show of skill. Can't afford to offend you, can't afford to offend you. Su Xiangwen obediently gave in. Wang Lan was no longer the bronze who could be bullied by them and threatened by a small tree. This time, Takashi Hoshi put on a show of skill, and the 2 Nebula only felt their scalps go numb and their backs turn cold. Chapter 126. You've just broken through Nebula, and you're already so arrogant? Wang Lan thought, I can just show off my Takashi Hoshi skills and you'll see the truth. The current Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu were at best the Jiang Xinyu from half a year ago. They might even be worse. Their strategic goal had been achieved, but there were still 4 days left. As for the remaining 4 days, it was naturally to expand their result. Wang Lan had already saved more than 2,000 skill points in the system. But who would complain about having too many skill points? The skill points in the Phoenix form were only 800. Even if he added another 1,000, it wouldn't be too much. After resting for 6 hours, Wang Lan and the others left the original battlefield and circled around to the back of the King Kong Mantis. They continued to hunt the King Kong Mantis from another angle. Wang Lan and the others' actions made some of the King Kong Mantises that escaped from the opposite area go crazy on the spot. I'm a fearless exotic beast, yet I've been forced to the opposite side by you. How can I still encounter you? I can't take it anymore. Brothers, kill. Then, their heads were easily plucked off, and their soul orbs were taken out. Soul orb +1. After hunting for 2 hours, Wang Lan suddenly noticed that there were 3 people hunting King Kong Mantises 200 meters behind him. Jiang Xinyu naturally noticed Wang Lan's strange behavior. It's still them. The 3 from yesterday's group. 1 Nebula, 2 Star Blazing. Wang Lan frowned and said slowly, if yesterday was a coincidence, then today we can be sure that they're coming for us. Coming for us? Let's see if they have such good teeth. Su Xiangwen sneered disdainfully. We have 3 Nebula here. Do they dare to touch us? This. Wang Lan, what are you talking about? CSCC asked curiously. This was the first time she had entered the trial grounds. She was still very naive, and did not know the true dangers of the trial grounds. Cece, the real threat in the training field isn't the exotic beasts, but our fellow Takashi Hoshi. It wasn't just the trial field. It was the same in the alternate dimension of the Wasteland Reclaimers. Do you know why the Wasteland Reclaimers have their own small teams, small groups, large groups, and so on? If they don't stick together, they won't be able to trust their backs to unknown comrades. There's such a thing? There are definitely such things, but they won't be made public. Lao Su, pay close attention to the surroundings. The three of them definitely won't dare to make a move against us. I'm guessing there will be other people. Oh my God! Wang Lan and the others pretended not to know anything as they continued to farm, rest, and farm again. Meanwhile, the three-man team on the other side acted as if they were here to grind monsters. They kept their distance from Wang Lan and the others, killing the monsters one by one. After about 5 hours, Su Xiangwen suddenly stopped. Lan Zi, something's not right. Did they make a move? I'm not sure. There are 2 Takashi Hoshi teams 800 meters to the left and right respectively. They're in a 3-man formation. 200 meters to the side of the first team, there's another team rushing over. They're not fast, but their target is definitely here. Then there's no mistake. They're trying to make us into dumplings. How strong are they? Based on visual estimation, there are 4 Nebula and 12 Star Blazing players. Damn it, if Flying Feather and I hadn't broken through yesterday, we'd be at a huge disadvantage today. Right now, we have 3 Nebula Realm cultivators and you, Wang Lan. What's there to be afraid of? Try me if you dare. 3 against 4. It's a little difficult. They're not rookies. They're all elites who've been through hundreds of battles. And there are 12 Star Blazing players. It's not going to be easy. Wang Lan wasn't as optimistic as Su Xiangwen and analyzed objectively. With you here, Lan Zi, even if they have 10 nebulas, they're still trash. Su Xiangwen still didn't understand and laughed as he underestimated the enemy. If I don't use my Takashi Hoshi skills, I won't use them unless I have no other choice. And according to my analysis, they only dared to make a move because they don't know that you two have broken through the nebula level. This way we can take advantage of the gap. Jiang Sinyu's expression turned serious. Wang Lan, you mean to say that we should make the first move? Wait. They haven't shown any intention of attacking us yet. Is it okay to make the first move? Cece suddenly asked nervously. Their intention to attack is very clear. They're going to surround us from 3 sides and block the exit. Once they're done, we'll either be trapped here or break through the King Kong mantis nest and kill our way out. So, we have to break through before they complete the encirclement. Which direction? In the direction we're looking at now. If I remember correctly, there's a lake 1 kilometer away. We can set up an ambush there. Cece looked at Wang Lan in shock. Wow, this man is so cool. His tactics are amazing. He's already thought of how to kill the enemy after they catch up. Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu, on the other hand, showed fear in their eyes and gave Wang Lan a thumbs up. Old Wang, you're so ruthless. Are you trying to wipe them out? I don't remember you being so ruthless before. Indeed, when she had first entered the training grounds with them, Wang Lan had still been very young and innocent. She had been a harmless and well-behaved child. However, after experiencing several incidents, Wang Lan's mentality had grown quickly. Especially after Zhang Jian was immediately shot to death, Wang Lan began to reflect on his own thoughts. For a scumbag like Zhang Jian, being shot to death was definitely a heavy punishment. 15 years of imprisonment was more than enough. However, killing this kind of person would only bring benefits to society and no harm. Similarly, for a Takashi Hoshi who could kill their own companions, how could you expect them to help the human race and kill the enemy when the country was in danger? Stop dreaming. It would be a miracle if they didn't become traitors. Therefore, since they were destined to make a move, and the other party was destined to chase after them, they might as well kill them directly. After deciding on the plan, Wang Lan and the others stopped luring monsters and turned to retreat from the original path. This was the last chance Wang Lan gave them. If they didn't make a move and let Wang Lan successfully retreat, then this level of alert would automatically disappear. If the other party tried to stop them, then Wang Lan gave them a chance. Unfortunately, the other party obviously didn't understand Wang Lan's good intentions. They deliberately acted as if they couldn't withstand the King Kong Mantis attack and gradually moved closer to Wang Lan's group. "Brother, help us! We can't hold on anymore." The three of them were in a sorry state. They shouted when they were about 30 meters away from Wang Lan's group. They quickly rushed toward Wang Lan's group. "Okay, you guys hold on for a while. We'll be there soon," Wang Lan quickly replied. The 5-man team instantly rushed toward the three people. "Haha!" The leader of the 3-man team, Nebula, sneered. "Chicks are chicks. Looks like they really are students. Brother Chi, we're going to be rich this time." Of course. In the past few days, they've collected at least 5,000 soul orbs. Oh my god, are students these days so fierce? If they can survive, they'll definitely be awesome in the future. Only those who survive are awesome. Those who die are just trash. Little Kai, are you soft-hearted? Soft-hearted my ass. Have I done this once or twice? Last time, that woman knelt and begged me to let her go. When have I ever soft-hearted? You're an idiot. You soft-hearted when you're hard, scum. They're here. Don't talk. Act well. Kids these days are very smart. The three of them instantly put on a surprised expression. Their acting skills were superb. A touched expression appeared on his face, as if he had met an old friend in a foreign land, as if he had met a fellow countryman. "Brother, thank you so much." Before they could finish speaking, Jiang Sinyu's Takashi Hoshi skill was instantly activated and enveloped the 3-man team. There wasn't even a second. Takashi Hoshi had already been activated. Once it was activated, it was earth-shattering. The 3-man team didn't even realize that their clumsy plan had been seen through. They didn't even have the slightest bit of defense. They were directly stunned by Jiang Sinyu's Takashi Hoshi skill. But even so, experienced warriors were still experienced warriors. In an instant, the three of them made effective evasive maneuvers. Jiang Sinyu's Takashi Hoshi skill wasn't a killing skill. In order to hide the fluctuation of her astral power, she could only use the ice-type Takashi Hoshi skill. The three of them froze in their movements. On the battlefield where life and death could be decided in an instant, a moment of stiffness was the difference between life and death. Before the Nebula Takashi Hoshi could react, Wang Lan's figure flashed before his eyes. The flaming blade swept across his throat and took the tactical backpack off his back. All this was done in a second. Wang Lan's figure turned into a gust of wind and swept past him. Only then did the man's head fall from his neck. Leapfrog kill. Reward: 300 experience points, 20 skill points. Only 20 skill points? Trash. 1 second after Wang Lan was done, Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu swiftly finished off the other 2 star-blazing Takashi Hoshi players and finished looting their crate. The 5-man team, from the time they came into contact to the moment they finished looting the crates and retreated, took less than 5 seconds. The moment they broke through the blockade, the 5 of them went straight to the riverbank not far away. At this moment, CSCC was still in a daze. What did she see? In an instant, 1 Nebula and 2 star-blazing players were beheaded. Their movements were precise and swift, without the slightest bit of sloppiness. In fact, CSCC didn't even see the slightest bit of hesitation on their faces. CSCC couldn't do it, at least not in the situation just now. In CSCC's mind, they were all human Takashi Hoshi. How could human Takashi Hoshi kill each other? However, CSCC, who was precocious, could understand. In this situation, the only way was to kill ruthlessly. If she hesitated, she might be the one to die. But understanding it was one thing, and doing it was another. At least, CSCC didn't do it just now. Even when Jiang Xinyu made her move, she was still hesitating and struggling. In less than 10 minutes, they ran for a kilometer. There was a lake here, and the shore of the lake was covered with dense grass and trees. At this point, Wang Lan let out a sigh of relief. He turned around and looked behind him. Xiangwen, check if they're chasing us. Not yet, but they're starting to gather. After saying that, Su Xiangwen smiled. Perfect cooperation. Come, open the crates and see how many items there are. As he spoke, he quickly opened the tactical backpack in his hand. Trash, you only have so few soul orbs? I only have about 100 in my backpack. I'm too lazy to count. This backpack is quite heavy. I feel like it's quite a lot. Wang Lan opened the backpack. Sure enough, it was full of soul orbs. There were at least 1,000 of them. What's this? Chapter 127. From his backpack, Wang Lan took out a small blue bottle. It looked like a perfume bottle, but the substance inside was in the form of a paste. Takashi Hoshi usually didn't bring irrelevant things into the trial field. Mobile phones and other burdens would all be stored in the locker. But in addition to the soul orbs, there was such a useless thing in the backpack. Who cares what it is? Count how many there are. You guys count. Xiangwen, watch closely. Don't King fail. Understood. Didn't you see that my heavenly eye is always open? Gong Feiyu quickly took the bag and began to count them. He was very fast. In less than a minute, he finished counting. 1,000. Oh my, we're rich. It's said that a horse won't get fat without eating at night, and a man won't get rich without a windfall. The ancients didn't lie. 1 kilometer away from where Wang Lan was resting, 13 people gathered around the 3 people killed by Wang Lan. The way they fell to the ground and the shock on their faces was still deeply engraved in their minds. They attacked so fast that Brother Qi didn't have time to react. He must have been ambushed. With Brother Qi's strength and experience, how could he be defeated by a few students? I don't believe it. Brother Lei, is there someone else? I don't care if there's anyone else. Qi is my brother. I must avenge him. Where are the 5 students? Judging from the direction, they should be heading in that direction. Go after them. On the other side, Wang Lan and the others were resting on the shore of the lake. The 5 of them had absorbed the soul orbs to replenish their astral power so that they could fight in their best condition. Lan Zi, they're coming. How many? 13. 3 nebulas, 10 star blazing. They're not fast, and they're searching for traces of our footsteps along the way. They're a bunch of veterans and very cautious. If they weren't cautious, they would have died long ago. Follow the plan. Understood. The footprints have been analyzed. It's confirmed that there are 5 people, 3 men and 2 women, a Takashi Hoshi in the 13-person team said in a low voice. Looks like it's none other than those 5 students. They must have used the identity of students to get close to Qi and succeeded in a surprise attack. Chase. The 13 of them sped up and arrived near the lake in the blink of an eye. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, suddenly, several arrows shot out from the forest. This unforeseen event gave the 13-man squad a big fright, but they instantly discovered that although these arrows came out of nowhere, they didn't have any lethality. Many people sneered in their hearts as he easily dodged the arrows. CK, who accidentally stepped on their warning trap? Brother Lei shouted fiercely with his triangular eyes. One of them raised his hand. He was a Nebula Takashi Hoshi and one of Brother Lei's brothers. Alai, are you getting worse and worse? How could he step on such a low-level trap? The other party has already been alerted and is hiding in the dark to observe us. It's just a few students. Brother Lei, there's no need to go through so much trouble. Let's just kill them directly. Don't underestimate these students. Qi's head was taken by them. Moreover, to be able to set up a warning trap that even you fell for, can these students still be considered ordinary? How would ordinary students dare to come to the intermediate training field? But so what if they're geniuses? After all, they're still children who haven't been weaned. They definitely don't have enough experience. As long as we gather together and keep a close watch, they won't be able to do anything. Brother Lei thought for a moment and nodded. All right, let's chase them over. In an instant, the 13 of them formed a triangular formation and rushed towards the lake like a sharp knife. And the moment they moved, 5 figures rushed out from the bushes beside the lake, turning into afterimages as they ran towards the lake. The moment they jumped into the lake, a white light lit up on the lake's surface. The lake's surface froze the moment the 5 of them landed. Ice element Takashi Hoshi, it's them. Be careful of ambushes. Stay alert and keep up. It's 5 people. They're all here. No one's ambushing. Chase. The lake's surface was very large. They were about a kilometer away from the opposite shore. Wang Lan and the others quickly fled towards the opposite shore. They didn't even look back, acting as if they were running for their lives in a panic. How could they miss such an opportunity? Plus, they had a wide view of the lake, and there was no cover around them. When Wang Lan and the others fled to the center of the lake, the 3 Nebula Takashi Hoshi led by Brother Lei instantly sped up. The distance between the 2 sides kept closing. Brother Lei, the 10 star-blazing Takashi Hoshi behind them weren't strong enough. Brother Lei and the other 2 pulled away by 10 meters. Boom! Suddenly, there was a loud noise behind them. The ice beneath their feet instantly shattered. At the same time, the frost that exploded seemed to come alive, turning into ice snakes and swallowing the 10 star-blazing Takashi Hoshi one by one. The moment the loud noise came from behind them, the 3 star-blazing Takashi Hoshi in front of them reacted and hurriedly turned around. But the brothers they brought with them were 10 meters away. At this distance, even if they tried to rescue them, it would be too late. So the 3 of them could only watch as the 10 star-blazing subordinates were sent away by Jiang Xinyu in one move. Frost drifted down from the sky, and in an instant it started to snow heavily. Jiang Xinyu walked over slowly on the snow. At this moment, Jiang Xinyu lived up to her nickname, the true stance of the Ice Queen. Good. Good. Beautiful ambush. Brother Lei looked at Jiang Xinyu and gritted his teeth. You've been hiding at the bottom of the lake for a long time. One of your team has the ability to clone himself. You swapped clothes with him to confuse us. I've been wary of you, but I didn't expect to fall into your trap. When I saw them jump into the lake and the lake instantly froze, I thought that you were among them. But I forgot that even if you hid underwater at the beginning, you could still freeze the lake. It's just that you cooperated so well that we thought that one of them froze the lake. Little girl, you're so young, but so shrewd. If you grow up, you'll definitely be a blessing for mankind. For you to say this, it's enough to prove that you're incurable. Ha ha! Brother Lei looked up to the sky and laughed. There's a saying in the Takashi Hoshi world. Only geniuses who grow up can be called geniuses. And those who die before they grow up, we call them inferior product. People like us exist to help the human civilization eliminate the inferior product. We are contributing to the human race. Shameless! Little girl, your tactic is very successful, but unfortunately, you shouldn't have targeted my men. They're just star-blazing. If you sneak attacked just now, you could have killed one of us first, and you'd still have a chance to escape. Now we're 3 Nebula. How can you win? Wow, we're so scared. 3 Nebula. A mocking voice came from behind. Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu locked onto the 3 people in the middle. Xie and Wang Lan stood further away. Star power surged around Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu. The star palace above their heads rose, and a nebula slowly rotated in the middle. Brother Lei and the other 2 people's expressions changed. The intelligence was wrong. Damn it. Those 2 people were not at the peak of the star glory stage. They were also nebula. At this moment, Brother Lei understood. The little girl in front of him didn't make a tactical mistake. She didn't want to escape from them. What she wanted was for him and his team to stay. Kids nowadays were really amazing. Those two people must have broken through recently, right? Otherwise, their star power wouldn't be so chaotic. Which one should she break through? The three battle-hardened Nebula warriors moved instantly, but their target wasn't Jiang Xinyu in front of them, but Su Xiangwen behind her. But in the next moment, Brother Lei suddenly rushed to Gong Feiyu on the other side. Brother Lei's action instantly made Lai and Gong Feiyu's faces turn dark. Brother Lei's action was equivalent to letting them attract the attention of Jiang Xinyu, who was behind them and didn't know how strong she was. Because if 3 people rushed to Su Xianwen and 2 people rushed to Su Xianwen, the result would be the same. Su Xianwen, a newbie who had just broken through Nebula, certainly couldn't resist 2 Nebula experts. He might even be able to kill them in an instant. Therefore, Jiang Xinyu behind them would definitely make a move, and her target would definitely be the 2 of them. Brother Lei rushed to the opposite side alone. Although he might not be able to kill them, he wouldn't be attacked. He would be in an invincible position. Although this was the best way to deal with the situation, it was indeed immoral. The 2 of them had so many thoughts, and all of them were completed in an instant. The moment they finished their thoughts, they had already rushed to Su Xiangwen. Behind them, Jiang Xinyu instantly launched Takashi Hoshi, but her target wasn't Lai and Gong Feiyu as Brother Lei thought. Instead, it was his back. What? How is that possible? Brother Lei's face showed a shocked expression. Don't you care about the life of your companion? Don't tell me my target is your boyfriend or something? It's clearly that kid's life that's at stake, okay? You're coming for me? Although Brother Lei was in shock, his body's reaction was extremely fast. Almost instantly, Brother Lei's body was surrounded by a whistling wind, and in 0.1 seconds before the frost attack hit, he completed the wind attribute conversion. Boom! The moment Jiang Xinyu launched her attack, the ice behind Lai and Gong Feiyu instantly exploded. At the same time, a figure rushed out of the ice. The figure was hidden in the ice and snow, and his appearance couldn't be seen clearly. The only thing that the 2 Nebula Takashi Hoshi, who hurriedly turned around, saw clearly was the purple flames burning in his hands. Wang Lan's dual blades slashed down, like a bolt of lightning that cut through the sky. By the time you saw this bolt of lightning, it had already fallen. There's a 6th person? Lai looked blankly at Wang Lan, who had landed on the ice with a cold expression, and murmured. A trace of blood slowly seeped out from his forehead and trickled down. Dong! There was a soft sound. It was the sound of his companion's head hitting the ice. It was also the last sound Lai heard in his life. In the next second, Lai's body slowly separated from the middle, falling to the 2 sides. Leapfrogging kill reward. 3000 EXP 30 SP. Leapfrogging kill reward. 3000 EXP 30 SP. Crack, the sound of ice shattering rang out. A green shadow quickly fell, and turned into Brother Lei on the ice. But at this moment, Brother Lei was covered in ice, as if he had aged a few decades in an instant, turning into an old man. He clearly saw the scene of Lai and Gong Feiyu being killed, and because he saw it so clearly, his heart was filled with fear. What kind of people are these? What kind of monsters are they? You're telling me they're students? Middle school students, my ass, old monsters. Chapter 128. Big Brother Lei, who had always boasted of being a seasoned veteran who had encountered all kinds of situations and opponents, was now in a mess. Even when facing a galaxy-grade mutated beast commander, Big Brother Lei could still think calmly and seek a chance of survival in a hopeless situation. However, in front of these 5 students, he had lost his cool. Look at the tactics these 5 students had come up with. Was this something humans could do? Trap within trap, trap after trap, trap after trap, trap after trap, step after step. From start to finish, they had not given him any chance of survival. Big Brother Lei had been very careful. He had only dared to pursue after confirming the number of opponents and their strength. He had not dared to be rash. He had only sped up after confirming that they had reached the center of the lake, where he had a clear view. However, he had still fallen into their trap. That time, Big Brother Lay had admitted defeat. After all, he had underestimated his opponent. Served him right. However, everything that had happened after that had not been within his expectations. Damn it. Did you have to decide the order of appearance when you ambushed two people? Big Brother Lay had not guessed what these students were thinking. But Brother Lay's thoughts were all calculated by the group of students, and the score was not bad. No matter how Big Brother Lay and the others reacted, they were still jumping around in the bowl. Step by step, they had been schemed into this desperate situation. 16 people. In a short 10 minutes, he was the only one left. How ruthless! How could he still be a student? Big Brother Lay was already considered a ruthless person in this line of work. You could be called a wolf. Now, the situation had been reversed. 3 nebula. No, could the guy who had killed 2 of his brothers be considered a star blazing? He could be a hidden high-level nebula. 4 nebula. Big Brother Lay did not even have the thought of turning around and running away. Now that he was on the ice, how could he escape from an ice-type nebula Takashi Hoshi? Was this a joke? Ding-dang, there was a crisp sound. It was the sound of something falling onto the ice. Wang Lan looked over. Beside Big Brother Lay's feet, an empty bottle that looked like a perfume bottle had fallen onto the ice. At the top of the bottle was a long needle. He frowned, and a faint sense of uneasiness rose in his heart. Was that blue bottle used to inject medicine? Was it a stimulant or something else? Crack, 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 crack. Brother Lay's throat suddenly made strange sounds, and his whole face began to twist. His originally average-looking face had become exceptionally terrifying due to his ferocious expression. This face gave Wang Lan a sense of familiarity. Chang Shuangyue. Potion, demonized Takashi Hoshi. Demonized potion. Several key points flashed through his mind. Everyone, pay attention! Wang Lan suddenly shouted, "Xinu, you 3 retreat. Leave this person to me." Although he didn't understand why Wang Lan made such a decision, he didn't hesitate and instantly retreated a distance away. All of you deserve to die. I'm going to kill all of you, all of you. Brother Lay let out a heart-wrenching roar. Instantly, his body flashed with a terrifying blood-red aura. His clothes burst open, and countless spiked shells bulged out from his skin, tearing it apart. Brother Lay crazily tore off the molted skin on his body. Almost instantly, a 2-meter-tall humanoid cricket-like monster appeared in front of Wang Lan and the others. Another one? Lan Zi, what the F***ck is this thing? This thing is called demonized Takashi Hoshi. All of you retreat further away. You bunch of trash. Didn't you want to kill me? Come on then. Why don't you dare? I'm going to eat all of you and then turn you into feces. Ha ha. Phoenix form activate. Brother Lay's mind was in a trance. After demonizing, his intelligence level plummeted, and even his subjective consciousness began to waver, as if it was about to leave him. In his mind, the remaining consciousness was to kill the few things in front of him. Just as Brother Lay was extremely arrogant, and the illusion that he was the best in the world rose from the depths of his soul, Wang Lan's low and powerful voice sounded in his ears. After turning into compound eyes, it was a little difficult to get used to the visual reception. In a trance, a burning phoenix with wings spread appeared in his compound eyes. Then, the phoenix flashed and disappeared. Wang Lan's figure turned into a stream of light, and instantly appeared behind Brother Lay. In front of Wang Lan, the cross-shaped guillotine flickered, and then extinguished like a light. Suddenly, green blood slowly dripped from Brother Lay's forehead. Brother Lay only felt as if he was locked in a small space, and his body seemed to be bound by something, unable to move. Suddenly, something seemed to have fallen. In the next moment, in front of Jiang Xinyu and the others, the Takashi Hoshi that had just completed its gorgeous transformation seemed to have a cross drawn in the middle, and then it was split into 4 pieces and scattered on the ground. Cross-level kill. Reward: 5,000 EXP, 50 skill points. After exiting the phoenix form, a sense of weakness hit him instantly. But fortunately, it did not take long, and this feeling of weakness was still within his tolerance range. F***ck. After a long while, Su Xiangwen finally squeezed out these 2 words after holding it in for a long time. It was not his fault. He was not a cultured person, and he could not describe his complicated feelings at this moment. A single word of F***ck was enough to express his meaning. It's done? Gong Feiyu was a little confused. Although it happened in front of him, it was too fast, and he could not believe it. What do you think? Jiang Xinyu said coldly, and in a flash, she came to Wang Lan's side to support Wang Lan. How are you? Bag. The pain in his body began to attack. It was like an electric current flowing through his numb feet. With a slight movement, his whole body was sore and stimulated. Jiang Xinyu was slightly stunned, but a layer of red instantly rose on her face. She hugged Wang Lan tightly in her arms. Bag. Wang Lan clenched his teeth tightly and said with difficulty. A hug is enough. If you do this again, I will be angry. Wang Lan, when did you learn to be like Su Xiangwen? I always thought you were a decent person. Originally, CSCC also wanted to go up to show her concern for Wang Lan, but when she saw Jiang Xinyu go, CSCC could only stop in her tracks. She looked at the 2 enviously. It was too perfect, a match made in heaven. Even CSCC felt a deep sense of guilt. She felt guilty for liking Wang Lan from the bottom of her heart. That. Xinyu, I think Lanzi is talking about bags, the tactical backpacks on these people. They are still frozen in the ice. A gust of cold wind blew, and the redness on Jiang Xinyu's face instantly spread to her ears and neck. Jiang Xinyu let go of Wang Lan's arm and pretended that nothing was wrong. She gently stepped on the ice under her feet. The ice surged, and 13 tactical backpacks rose up. Wang Lan just used his phoenix form, so he is still weak. I just helped him up. This explanation was very weak. Waves of stimulation like electric currents finally slowly subsided. Although her limbs were still sore, it did not affect her movement. Let's go, let's find a safe place first. The 5 of them left the lake area and found a relatively safe place on the map. The 5 of them gathered together and began to count their harvest this time. Although CSCC was no longer in a daze, there was still a lingering look of fear on her face. She killed someone today. Killing someone was completely different from killing exotic beasts. The psychological impact on her was completely different. Even if a butcher had killed hundreds or thousands of pigs, he might not dare to kill someone. Although CSCC had never killed a person with her own hands, she was in the same team as Wang Lan and the others. This time's counterattack was their team's work. There was no difference between killing by the team and killing by herself. Perhaps seeing that CSCC had something on her mind, Jiang Xinyu came to CSCC's side and hugged CSCC's shoulder. These are things that we Takashi Hoshi can't avoid, whether it's death or murder. If we don't kill them, they will kill us. For our own safety, we can only strike first and gain the upper hand. The first time I entered the training field with Su Xiangwen and the others, we almost died. At that time, the teacher we hired to lead the team risked his life to teach us a lesson. In the alternate dimension, where the law doesn't control, you can only trust yourself. Anyone who tries to get close is someone who wants your life. Thank you, I can think it through. It's just that it's hard for me to get used to it. After all, they are humans. Except for the last one. Su Xiangwen finished counting the soul orbs and looked up with a smile. We're rich this time. There are a total of 10,000 soul orbs. The 16 of them have probably stayed in the training field for 7 or 8 days and are ready to leave. They probably have their eyes on us because they want to take advantage of us before they leave. We are fat sheep, but they aren't skinny either. How about this? There are 5 of us, so each of us gets 2,000 soul orbs. After distributing the soul orbs, everyone was happy. Especially CSCC, who was hugging her heavy backpack and was so excited that she was about to cry. She never thought that one day she would have so many soul orbs. It was something that she didn't even dare to dream about. There are 3 days left. Continue? But we should change places. Su Xiangwen stopped smiling and said. Wang Lan played with the blue medicine bottle in his hand and lowered his head in contemplation. Hearing Su Xiangwen's words, Wang Lan suddenly looked up. Let's go out. What? Su Xiangwen looked at Wang Lan in disbelief. Go out? It's 100,000 a day, and you can't get a refund when you leave the training field. The harvest this time has far exceeded our expectations. We even earned so many soul orbs. It's time to go out. There's a limit to everything. Going too far is as bad as falling short. Jiang Xinyu's eyes flashed and finally fixed her gaze on the blue medicine bottle in Wang Lan's hand. I think Wang Lan is right. Let's go out. After what happened just now, the training field isn't safe anymore. Since we've achieved our goal, let's go out early. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu both said so, and Su Xiangwen also expressed his agreement. Although it was a pity to go out now, thinking about the harvest this time, it was worth it. So be it. They could come back after the college entrance exam. The group left the resting area and went straight to the training field's entrance according to the map. Soul orbs were not allowed to be taken out. They could either be absorbed in a designated safe room in the training field or be recycled by the training field. The 4 of them chose to absorb. They didn't lack money. CSCC also felt that money was far less important than soul orbs. The soul orbs absorbed were hers. 2,000 soul orbs were enough to push her to the middle or even late stage of star blazing. Moreover, because of Wang Lan, her entrance fee was 50% off. 500,000 was just enough. Wang Lan left the team alone and found someone from the 3rd Battalion. He was then brought to see Battalion Commander Wu Changfeng. Brother Wang Lan, why are you back so soon? What happened? Did you get a big harvest? Wu Changfeng was very enthusiastic and immediately hugged Wang Lan. Not a small harvest, but Brother Wu, I have some information to tell you. I wonder if Brother Wu has heard of the demonized Takashi Hoshi? Chapter 129. The demonized Takashi Hoshi? How do you know about the demonized Takashi Hoshi? You're just a student. Wang Lan hadn't expected Wu Changfeng to not be shocked by the demonized Takashi Hoshi. Instead, he was shocked that Wang Lan knew about the demonized Takashi Hoshi. I'm from the Celestial Sword Special Service. It's reasonable that I know about the demonized Takashi Hoshi. Wang Lan replied with some hesitation, trying to keep his tone as calm as possible so as not to provoke this guy who liked to run around naked. But Wang Lan had miscalculated. Bang! Wu Changfeng slammed the table. What? You've joined the Heavenly Sword Bureau? We're from the True Martial Group, and you dare to rob the Heavenly Sword Bureau? Wait. Wang Lan raised his hand. When did I become a member of the True Martial Group? The True Martial Group is interested in you. Is that not allowed? Wu Changfeng narrowed his eyes, scanning Wang Lan as if he were scanning a code. That's not right. With your qualifications, how could the Heavenly Sword Bureau be interested in you? The Heavenly Sword Bureau claims to only recruit elites. Unless you have a glorious battle record, enough qualifications, and a recommendation letter from a Galaxy Tier elite or above, you can forget about getting in. Otherwise, those below Nebula can forget about it. How many days has it been since you awakened as a Takashi Hoshi? Why would the Heavenly Sword Bureau let you join? 2 years ago, Takashi Hoshi wanted to jump ship to the Heavenly Sword Bureau, but his application was rejected. You brat, where did you get your face from? Big Brother Wu, I don't like what you're saying. Wang Lan pursed his lips in disdain. Back then, Wang Qianfeng had tricked and threatened him into joining. Why do you think I'm so unbearable? Have you ever been on a real battlefield? It's not the tame beasts in the training grounds that have detailed maps for you. Instead, it was a real battlefield where enemies could appear at any time. Have you made any contributions on the battlefield? I have the Phoenix form, Wang Lan coldly replied. Have you reached the level of Nebula? And it's at least one of the top forces in Nebula. I have a Phoenix form. You don't have any real internship experience. You're still a student. You didn't even go to university, and you didn't go to the military to gain experience. You haven't even met the basic requirements of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, have you? I have the Phoenix form. What else can you say other than this? Is this your only reason? Wu Changfeng was hopping mad. Why don't you understand my intentions? Our true martial group has long regarded you as a piece of meat in our bowl. You just want to let you grow up for another 2 years and go to college or something? Wasn't the Heavenly Sword Bureau a little too fast? The peaches weren't even ripe yet and he was already picking them? No, the Heavenly Sword Bureau must have violated the rules. Report, I must report. Isn't this reason enough? Enough my ass. Tell me, what's wrong with the true martial group? You want to go to the Heavenly Sword Bureau? Are we not good enough to you, or are you an outsider to our leader? That's not what I meant. Isn't it inconvenient to join the military? I still have to go to school. If I join the military, won't my studies be wasted? The Heavenly Sword Bureau is great. I don't have to go to work, and I can still go to school as usual. And the Heavenly Sword Bureau has branches all over the country. I can go to the Heavenly Sword Bureau wherever I go. Is the Heavenly Sword Bureau tricking you? How is it inconvenient to join the military? Don't you know about the military? Also, soldiers like us go abroad to study. Why can't we go to school? Wait, you haven't been tricked, have you? That won't do. I have to talk to our leader. You're such a talent. We can't let the Heavenly Sword Bureau take you away. No, I joined the Heavenly Sword Bureau willingly. Wait, I almost forgot about the important matter. Your affiliation is the important matter. Can I correct the matter of the demonized Takashi Hoshi? Are you sure? Wang Lan blinked and looked at Wu Changfeng. Under Wang Lan's gaze, Wu Changfeng was defeated. Wang Lan took out the blue medicine from his backpack. We already received accurate information. The appearance of the demonized Takashi Hoshi is related to the demon's spies. And the cause of the appearance of the demonized Takashi Hoshi is a kind of medicine. Before this, we didn't get a sample of the medicine. We didn't expect to get a sample of it when we just came to the intermediate training ground. This is the medicine used to demonize Takashi Hoshi. I'm telling you this because I want you to pay attention during the security check. If you discover this medicine, immediately control it. Understood. I'll inform them immediately. You stay here and don't move. You haven't finished speaking. Let's continue after I announce it. Wu Changfeng turned and left. Ask Old 1 and Old 6 to come to the meeting. Stay? What a joke. Wang Lan took advantage of Wu Changfeng's inattention and slipped out of the office with a whoosh, disappearing in a few flashes. When he returned to the entrance, Jiang Xinyu and the others came out one after another. This time, CSCC was the one with the greatest gains. She had absorbed so many soul orbs at once. She had just broken through the early stage of starblazing, but now she had broken through to the late stage of starblazing. She was almost at Wang Lan's level. Although Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu hadn't broken through to the middle stage, they were only one step away from it. They had just broken through, and the star power limiter was still very strong. Let alone 3,000 soul orbs, even 5,000 soul orbs would be difficult to break through twice. The only thing that they couldn't accept was that Wang Lan hadn't broken through to Nebula even after absorbing 3,000 soul orbs. Seeing Su Xiangwen's disdainful gaze, Wang Lan knew that this guy was probably itching for a beating. How can you blame me? My method of breaking through is different from yours. I'm also in despair. Moreover, Wang Lan wasn't lacking in skill points. What he lacked was experience points. The last Takashi Hoshi tournament had allowed him to break through to Star Glory level 5. After this trip to the trial field, his experience points had only reached 80% of Star Glory level 5. Star Glory level 50,000 experience points, Star Glory level 60 experience points, Star Glory level 60 experience points would be 60,000. When he thought of this huge amount of experience points, Wang Lan wanted to cry out loud. He had 3,000 skill points. He added another 1,000 skill points to Phoenix form. Adding the 3,000 skill points he had earned before, and adding all his basic skills to Silver level 9, he still had 3,000 skill points. This trip to the trial field had made Wang Lan completely rich. After leaving the trial field with Jiang Xinyu and the others, Wang Lan slipped into the car like a wisp of smoke and pressed the button to start the engine. Just as he was about to put the car in gear, the car phone rang. "Xinyu, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? Why do I feel like you're running for your life? F***CK, aren't you too sharp? You even noticed this?" Wang Lan broke out in cold sweat. Just now, he really did have the thought of leaving as soon as possible. "Lan Zi, have you forgotten that Xin you can restore a painting to its original state with just a casual glance? Xinyu's ability to capture details is comparable to a camera." Gong Feiyu's voice sounded from the phone. "Actually, it's nothing. Didn't we meet some acquaintances this time? They were too enthusiastic. If we ran too slowly, it would have been difficult to escape today." "Are you sure you didn't do anything bad? Do I look like that kind of person? Let's not talk about anything else. Where are we going to play tonight?" Su Xiangwen asked anxiously. Every time they went on a mission together, they would choose a place to eat, drink, and have fun. "How about we go to Eastern Heavenly Gate this time?" Gong Feiyu asked. "Sure. If we play late, we can stay at Wang Lan's house. There are plenty of rooms in his house." "Agreed. Go back and wash up. We'll meet at Eastern Heavenly Gates, Sioux City Central Square at 6:00 tonight." "Aye." CSCC's hesitant voice sounded from the phone. "Don't refuse. Be there on time. No, I won't send you home. You can go straight to my house. I have plenty of clothes." "It's settled then." Woo woo woo, the car roared. 4 cars whizzed onto the opposite road and disappeared at the end of their vision in the blink of an eye. Wang Lan did not go home. Instead, he drove directly to the Heavenly Sword Bureau's headquarters. After entering the intelligence department on the 7th floor, Wang Lan first went to the assistant's office at the entrance. "Is Wang Chu here today? Is it convenient now? Little junior brother hasn't been here in a long time. Wang Chu is in the office. You can go straight there." "Long time?" Wang Lan calculated. It had been less than 2 months. "Da, come in." Wang Lan entered the office. Wang Qianfeng was writing on the desk. He raised his head slightly and saw Wang Lan, but did not pay much attention. "Did the sun rise from the west today? Why did you go back to the bureau to take a look? Why? What important information did you find?" Wang Lan came to the desk and stood at attention. "Wang Chu, I seized a bottle of demonic medicine. I'm here to hand it in." "Pa, a fountain pen copybook was destroyed just like that." Wang Qianfeng raised his head and stared straight at Wang Lan. The look in his eyes seemed to be asking, "Are you F***king kidding me?" Wang Qianfeng's previous words were just a casual joke. Who didn't know that Wang Lan had been in school for more than a month? He had just finished his final exams and had only been on holiday for a few days. How could he have found any clues? He was just complaining that Wang Lan did not come to the Heavenly Sword Bureau for no reason. It was as if he was not a member of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. But he did not expect that Wang Lan really would not come to the Three Treasures Palace for no reason. "What did you say? You seized a bottle of demonic medicine? Where did you seize it from? Where did you go to stir up trouble? Why don't I know anything about it?" Wang Qianfeng anxiously said 3 consecutive words. Wang Lan took out a blue bottle of medicine from his pocket. This should be the demonic medicine. On the 3rd day of the winter break, my classmates and I went to the intermediate trial field. As Wang Lan spoke, Wang Qianfeng's expression became more and more strange and bitter. Was he still human? The first time you entered the beginner trial field, you discovered the demon's base and discovered the demon's conspiracy. The second time you entered the trial field, a demonized Takashi Hoshi came knocking on your door, and you even seized a bottle of demonic medicine. The importance of the demonic medicine was self-evident. It was the most powerful clue to understand the cause of the demonized Takashi Hoshi. The Imperial Capital Headquarters had ordered to investigate the source of the demonized Takashi Hoshi at all costs and not spare any effort to eliminate them. The order had been issued a week ago. Wang Qianfeng had sent out all the backbones. Until now, there had not been a single progress report. You suddenly sent a bottle of demonic medicine to me? Are you surprised? Are you surprised? You are the one chosen by the heavens, right? With your luck, it's a pity that you don't buy a lottery ticket. After a while, Wang Qianfeng faintly let out a sigh. Wang Chu must be joking. Why would I buy a lottery ticket? It's not as fast as renting a house. Hearing this, Wang Qianfeng really wanted to kill someone. What should he do? However, Wang Lan agreed with Wang Qianfeng's words. He really was chosen by the heavens. Wasn't the system in his mind the heavens system? Chapter 130. Wang Chu, if there's nothing else, I'll go back first. I have an appointment with my friends tonight to relax. Wait. Come with me to see the chief. Is there something the chief wants to talk to me about? Wang Lan asked nervously. Wang Qianfeng looked at Wang Lan as if he was an idiot. What are you thinking? Go and report to the chief that you've made a great contribution again. Why don't you go and report it? It's good for you to show your face in front of the chief. Wang Lan wasn't stupid. She immediately understood what was going on. In the system, the most important thing was that the superiors had you in their hearts. They would think of you first when something good happened. To do this, you had to make your presence known often. Following Wang Qianfeng to the chief's office, Wang Qianfeng straightened his collar at the door and knocked on the door. Wang Qianfeng from the intelligence department, I have something to report. A phone, come in. Lu Zhao wore a pair of presbyopic glasses and wrote furiously in front of a huge desk. The desk, which looked like a tennis table, was filled with all kinds of information. Lu Zhao was actually very old. His short hair was already graying, and his lean figure made him look very energetic. He looked up and saw Wang Qianfeng and Wang Lan behind him. He smiled. Could it be that this little mascot has made a great contribution to you again? Little mascot? He's not talking about me, right? Wang Lan's expression didn't change. He lowered his head slightly and complained in his heart. The chief is really wise. As he spoke, Wang Qianfeng put the blue potion on Lu Zhao's desk. This is the potion that Wang Lan seized. Lu Zhao's expression was slightly stunned. It was similar to Wang Qianfeng's, but in terms of composure, he was much better than Wang Qianfeng. What's going on? Where did it come from? Wang Lan, come and report to the chief. Yes. Wang Lan stood at attention. Reporting to the bureau chief, this lowly one was in the intermediate training field of the Taoyuan district. I had a conflict with a group of Takashi Hoshi and seized it from them. Your humble servant even saw one of the Takashi Hoshi injected with the drug and turned into a demonized Takashi Hoshi. Following which, Wang Lan recounted his encounter in the training field. After everything was said, Lu Zhao slowly stood up and walked over to Wang Lan, sizing him up. After looking for a while, he suddenly pointed at Wang Lan and smiled at Wang Qianfeng. A phone. He's our koi and you're our bolo. I'm convinced of this kid's luck. I wouldn't be surprised if he picked up a few gold rings while tying his shoelaces on the road that day. Bureau Chief, luck is only a small part of it. Even if luck comes, you still need to find the eyes of luck. This time, Wang Lan discovered the demonized potion for the first time and successfully disarmed it. His contribution cannot go unnoticed. Ha ha ha. You're overprotective. You think I'll mistreat this kid? Alright, those Takashi Hoshi. Who are they and where did the demonized potion come from? You're in charge of investigating it. Yes. I'll definitely get to the bottom of it and get to the bottom of it. Leave the drug here. I'll hand it over to the relevant experts for testing. You guys can go back. Following Wang Qianfeng out of Lu Zhao's office, Wang Lan was relieved. Wang Qianfeng didn't say anything, and Wang Lan didn't ask anything either. After driving away from the Heavenly Sword Bureau, he went home and took a comfortable bath. After changing his clothes, it was almost time to go out. The Eastern Heavenly Gate was right in front of his house. Wang Lan walked there. As soon as he arrived at the square, he saw 3 luxury cars slowly driving into the parking lot on the road. The 4 of them got out of the car. When they saw CSCC's appearance, Wang Lan's eyes lit up. After carefully dressing up, CSCC was as beautiful as a TV star, especially her tall figure and a pair of long, straight legs. Those long legs immediately attracted Wang Lan's attention. When their eyes met, Wang Lan instantly retracted his gaze and greeted the 4 of them. If you were to ask who was prettier between CSCC and Jiang Xinyu, the answer would naturally be Jiang Xinyu. Her family had good genes, and she had been carefully nurtured since she was young. Whether it was her appearance or temperament, she was impeccable. Perhaps because Wang Lan was too familiar with her, he didn't feel anything. However, when Wang Lan took a closer look, he basically couldn't resist Jiang Xinyu's charm. CSCC and Wang Lan hadn't known each other for long, but the attraction she had for Wang Lan was stronger. Although CSCC was brought home by Jiang Xinyu, Wang Lan was sure that CSCC's clothes were definitely not Jiang Xinyu's. The size was obviously wrong. Wang Lan knew that he had been caught peeking at CSCC, so he quickly changed the topic. I say, you guys are awesome. At this time, you can still get a parking lot on the ground? Tisk, it's not a big deal. Find some cars with car numbers and give them a call. 5,000 yuan for a parking lot. It's settled in minutes. Su Xiangwen smiled disapprovingly. At the Eastern Heavenly Gate, they often came to look for food. They knew which restaurant was good and which restaurant had good service. After eating and drinking, they went to sing songs. The 5 of them were high until the middle of the night before they went their separate ways. When the song ended, everyone left. It was a perfect end to this trial field trip. Wang Lan, who was lying on the bed, suddenly felt a little empty. It was as if he had been busy for a long time and was suddenly at a loss for what to do. There were plenty of skill points in the system, but because of the level restriction, there was no place to use them. Wang Lan wasn't the kind of person who liked to wait. The extra skill points needed to be converted into strength as soon as possible. The only way to deal with it was to buy Takashi Hoshi skills. Takashi Hoshi skills were only sold at the Takashi Hoshi Hall. The purchase had to be made at the Takashi Hoshi Hall, but browsing for Takashi Hoshi skills could be done at home. Wang Lan sat up and turned on the computer. He quickly completed the identity verification and entered the Takashi Hoshi Hall's homepage. He clicked on the Takashi Hoshi Skills Sales Center, F***CK. What kind of rubbish is this? Last time, Jiang Xinyu had bought 3 A-grade Takashi Hoshi Hall Takashi Hoshi skills. This time, Wang Lan scanned through and found that there were no A-grade Takashi Hoshi skills. Even the B-grade Takashi Hoshi skills only had 5 or 6. Almost all the Takashi Hoshi skills were either C or D. The Takashi Hoshi Hall is getting worse and worse. I don't expect you to have any S-grade Takashi Hoshi skills. You should at least give me some A-grade ones. Wang Lan complained as he searched. He didn't know how expensive the rice and wood were. The moment he started, he used the Platinum Phoenix form. When he first started, he had 2 A-grade Takashi Hoshi skills. But for normal Takashi Hoshi players, what was an A-grade Takashi Hoshi skill? He had heard of it, but he had never seen it. B-grade Takashi Hoshi skills were peerless secret. C-grade skills were good stuff. If there was a suitable C-grade Takashi Hoshi skill, he would have to grit his teeth and buy it. Don't underestimate these low-level Takashi Hoshi skills. They could save lives at critical times. After refreshing several times, Wang Lan couldn't find a satisfactory skill. He was disheartened. Even if I have to leave these skill points and let them rot, I won't waste them on these C-grade and B-grade skills. Just as he was about to close the page, a pop-up window suddenly popped up. You didn't find the Takashi Hoshi skill you like? Then try to match. Register the Takashi Hoshi skill you want according to the prompt. When the Takashi Hoshi skill library has a suitable Takashi Hoshi skill, a push notification will be sent. Takashi Hoshi Hall wishes that every Takashi Hoshi player will be able to obtain a satisfactory Takashi Hoshi skill. Every Takashi Hoshi player would be able to obtain a satisfactory Takashi Hoshi skill. But most of the powerful Takashi Hoshi skills were controlled by the Takashi Hoshi family. Otherwise, one would have to pass the Seibu Gakuen test to be able to come into contact with them. Besides, good Takashi Hoshi skills were expensive. Normal people could only kneel in front of the price and sigh. But Wang Lan still chose to register. Wang Lan had already done a data analysis of his shortcomings. He was a melee healer. Although Wang Lan was on this path smoothly, Wang Lan was still not satisfied. As a support, he had long been annoyed by the cooldown. What type of Takashi Hoshi skill do you want? Attack, of course. As a healer who healed himself more than others, what defense did he need? When he could tank, he would tank. When he could not, he would heal himself and continue to tank. What type of attack do you want? It had to be long range. For close-range attacks, he had Nebula Sword Dance for dodging. For damage, he had Flaming Blade. Nebula Sword Dance also had confusion, positioning, control, and other functions. He did not lack close-range attack. What type of attribute change do you want Takashi Hoshi skill to be? It did not matter. If it was an attribute change, it would naturally be a fire-type skill. What level do you want your Takashi Hoshi skill to be? Wang Lan really wanted to choose an S-level skill, but there was no S-level option? Perhaps the Takashi Hoshi Hall felt that an S-level Takashi Hoshi skill would not appear in the Takashi Hoshi Hall. So he simply cancelled this option. Was the S-level section of the Takashi Hoshi skill library an unnecessary design? Then what are you doing there? Registration completed and submitted to the database. He turned off the computer and went back to his bed to browse the Heavenly Sword Bureau's information, concerned about the situation of his brothers. Reporting. Come in. Wang Qianfeng pushed open the door to Lu Zhao's office. Director, the investigation results are out, and it's not satisfactory. Why? The identities of a few Takashi Hoshi shouldn't be a problem for you, Director of the Intelligence Department, right? They are not ordinary Takashi Hoshi. No, they are Takashi Hoshi without identities. The Takashi Hoshi who entered the trial field was a fake. When we traced the Takashi Hoshi certificate, the original owner was still exploring the alternate dimension. Not to mention that those people were already killed by Wang Lan. Even if they were not killed, it is impossible for them to appear in two places at the same time. There is authentication information in the Takashi Hoshi certificate. If the central system detects that two people of the same identity appear in different places, it will send out an alarm. That is true, but the surveillance database of the Takashi Hoshi has been tampered with. The person who tampered with it died in a car accident 2 years ago. It has been too long and can no longer be traced. In other words, these people were already selected and executed 2 years ago. Should be. What about facial recognition? That's the worst part. The people in the intermediate trial field looked exactly the same as the people on the Takashi Hoshi certificate. just like those Takashi Hoshi clones. But I have already confirmed that they are definitely not clones. Takashi Hoshi's skills, habits, and so on are different. The DNA extracted is also different. The DNA repository has only been perfected in the last 10 years. There is still a large number of Takashi Hoshi that have not been stored. These 16 people are like people who don't exist at all. There is no trace of them at all. Lu Zhao frowned. He leaned back in his chair and pondered for a while. It is more complicated than I thought. But no matter how complicated it is, we will investigate to the end. It just takes time. At present, the demons have not made any substantial moves. Especially after we learned about the ant nest project, they should be dormant for a while. Take your time, but you must look seriously. Understood. Chapter 131. On the 24th, New Year's Eve, Wang Lan put on a down jacket for the first time. He wrapped himself up like a panda and went out. Actually, Takashi Hoshi with the fire attribute were not afraid of the cold. When the temperature dropped, he could circulate his astral power around his body. This was even better than wearing heat packs all over his body. Wang Lan wore so much because he was going to his aunt's house on his electric scooter. His aunt had called in the morning to invite Wang Lan over for dinner. He entered the neighborhood skillfully and parked his scooter in his aunt's underground garage. He went upstairs and entered the password. The moment he opened the door, 2 pairs of big eyes looked at Wang Lan. Wang Lan was slightly surprised to see Hu Feifei in his aunt's house. Wang Lan, you're here? Change your slippers. Don't dirty the floor, Song Jia said calmly, as if she was the head of a household. Jia, this floor, is there still room to dirty? Wang Lan was speechless as he looked at the potato chips, nut shells, and paper airplanes scattered all over the floor. Although it's a little dirty, I'll clean it up later. Song Jia blushed and quickly assembled the toys in front of her. Hu Feifei had already put down the things in her hands. She quickly stood up and walked timidly to Wang Lan. Feifei, how did you meet Jia? Don't you recognize your little brother? Wang Lan smiled and touched her head. Unexpectedly, Hu Feifei suddenly hugged Wang Lan's waist. Little brother, you didn't come to see me after Feifei was discharged from the hospital. I missed you a few days ago, but I couldn't get through to you. Little brother was in the training field for the past few days. His phone was turned off. However, such a heartwarming scene made Song Jiasen's heart ache all of a sudden. The relationship between Song Jia and Wang Lan was definitely not comparable to that of ordinary cousins. Wang Lan was brought back by Wang Ling. Other than his aunt, he had no other relative. Song Jia became Wang Lan's only sister. It was the same for Song Jia. Wang Qi didn't even let Song Jia's family know about her existence, much less Song Jia's. For Song Jia, her only family in the world were her mother and Wang Lan. Although the two of them would occasionally bicker, their relationship was very good. From their last encounter, it could be seen that Song Jia trusted Wang Lan very much when he was afraid. He could not wait to hide in Wang Lan's arms. Sometimes, Wang Lan would compare Song Jia and Jiang Xinchen. They were both sisters, but Jiang Xinchen was well-behaved and sensible, while Song Jia was very arrogant. But now, Song Jia suddenly saw his good friend hugging Wang Lan so intimately and calling him little brother? His position was obviously under serious threat. Good for you, Wang Lan. You have this princess and you still want to hook up with someone else's sister? Is this princess not cute anymore? Song Jia was so angry that he did not even play with the toys in his hands. With a crash, all of them fell apart. He jumped off the sofa and walked in front of the two in his slippers. He pulled Hu Feifei away and hid her behind his back. He raised his head and looked at Wang Lan with his sharp and cute eyes, which made Wang Lan feel confused. Wang Lan, Feifei is so young. How could you do this to her? Are you still human? Wang Lan's expression froze. At first, he was stunned, but in the next moment, his face darkened. He could not keep this sister anymore, right? At such a young age, how could primary school students be like this? Jia, little brother didn't bully me, Fei said weakly as she pulled Song Jia's clothes. You don't understand. Bullying you doesn't have to be direct. There are many kinds of bullying. Direct bullying is beating you up. Indirect bullying is hiring someone to beat you up. The last kind is the most despicable, and that is coaxing you. The teacher just taught us last month that we girls have to learn to be vigilant and protect ourselves at all times. Some people show concern on their faces, but I don't know what they're thinking. It's getting worse. Listen, what do you think I am? I can't tolerate this. Jia, little brother's face darkened. He's not happy. It's okay, I'm used to it. How did Fei and Jia know each other? I don't remember you two being classmates. I'm sorry. Fei is my classmate now, and she's my deskmate. I'm warning you, Fei is under my protection. Don't you dare have any ideas about her. Otherwise, Fei also goes to Duoluan school? Wang Lan was surprised. Duoluan school's annual tuition was very expensive. Even though Hu Qing was working as a police superintendent, Hu Qing's family was poor before. It was unlikely that they could afford the tuition. No, I'm at Tongjian Primary School, Fei said doubtfully. Duoluan school? It's long gone, okay? Song Jia said with disdain. Have you forgotten what happened last time? So many people died. Who would let Duoluan school go? The principal and the school board were exposed for many crimes, and they were all arrested by the guards. Before the start of last semester, my mom helped me with the transfer procedures. I was in the 4th grade at Tongjian Primary School when school started. Actually, it's the same whether it's an elite school or an ordinary school. At the beginning, there were a few idiots who bullied us transfer students. After a few beatings, they became obedient. Fei only transferred here after National Day. I really don't understand why those idiots like to bully new students so much. They dared to mock Fei as a little nun and made her cry. Do you think a righteous person like me can tolerate that? Then you beat them up again? Wang Lan asked nervously. No. Song Jia shook his head decisively. How could one beat be enough? I beat them up for 3 days. F***ck. Wang Lan couldn't find the words to praise Song Jia. He could only give him a thumbs up as a sign of respect. Does Auntie know that you're like this at school? How could I let her know? I gave those idiots 100 yuan each to buy snacks. Those idiots were smiling happily as if they had taken advantage of me. But I heard that they were beaten up by their parents when they went home. Why is that so? It's simple. They didn't buy snacks or hide the 100 yuan. Instead, they bought a toy and swaggered it home. The next day, their parents came to school and asked me if I gave them the 100 yuan. Do you know how I reacted at that time? How could I admit to this? Of course I didn't know. Then, those idiots were beaten up by his parents and accused of stealing money from the family. Sigh. After listening to Song Jia, Wang Lan shuddered. You planned all of this, didn't you? When did I? When you beat them up, you must have gone to a place where no one could see. But the other students must know that you quarreled with them. I'm guessing that you skipped a part of the process. Wang Lan touched his chin and looked at Song Jia, who was sitting on the sofa with a soft toy in his hands. You even know this? After beating them up, I went to report it to the teacher. In the teacher's eyes, they are still a good kid. But I didn't make it very serious. I just said that they wanted to bully me and pushed me but didn't really hit me. That's natural. If it was serious, the teacher might call their parent. At that time, they might inform Auntie. This is something you don't want to see. You just have to let the teacher know that you have a conflict with them. I did this to make them not dare to trouble me again. This is self-defense. Then you secretly gave them money and dug a hole for them. After all, I'm just a girl. There are 3 or 4 of them. What if they retaliate against me in the future? Giving them money is an apology. You can't give it openly. Of course, it's in private. You've been planning this from the very beginning. Don't quibble. Wang Lan pointed at Song Jia's head and gently knocked. This method is what I taught you before. You can hide it from others, but can you hide it from me? If a child from an ordinary family suddenly has an extra 100 yuan to buy a toy, their parents will be suspicious. Of course, they will say that you gave it to them. After that, the other 3 or 4 will all have the same story. You actually have another backup plan. But fortunately, you didn't go too far. When the parents come to ask, if you admit that you gave them the money, then they will be accused of extortion. Maybe the school won't tolerate them. Your classmates know that they had a conflict with you. Your teacher also knows. In this case, no matter how they explain, it's useless. At such a young age, how can you be so smooth with this trick? Song Jia pouted and turned his face. If it weren't for the good attitude of those uncles and aunts, I would have admitted it in front of the teacher. Moreover, I would have said that I was forced into a corner and robbed from them. Wang Lan and Song Jia were well aware of what was going on, but Hu Feifei, who was listening from the side, was confused. Her curious eyes swept back and forth between Wang Lan and Song Jia. Click! The door lock was turned and the door was opened. Little Aunt appeared at the door in a black suit. Mom, you're back. Mom has worked hard. I'll get you a pair of slippers. Song Jia instantly ran over happily to curry favor. Next, my Jia, are you trying to trick Mom to find out when Mom came home and when she stood at the door, right? Wang Qi's smile was as bright as the spring sun. However, the smile on Song Jia's face gradually disappeared. Suddenly, Song Jia turned his head and bared his teeth at Wang Lan. Wang Lan, you tricked me? I didn't say anything. You said it yourself. Mom has been busy with company matters recently. I didn't expect my good daughter to do such a big thing unknowingly. Let's have a good chat tonight. Hello, Auntie. Auntie Jia quarreled with others because he was helping me. Can you not scold Jia? If you want to scold someone, scold me. Hey, what a cute little girl. Are you Jia's deskmate? What's your name? My name is Hu Feifei. Little brother knows me too. Wang Qi looked up at Wang Lan. I'm friends with her brother. His name is Hu Qing and he's working for the police. Feifei used to be in poor health and had been hospitalized. Now she's recovered. By the way, Feifei, how's your control of star power? Do you practice often at home? I practice every day. My brother says my control is good, but I still need to work hard. Right now I can only achieve 3.0 mixed control. Speaking of this, Hu Feifei smiled sweetly. Wait. Suddenly, Song Jia looked at Hu Feifei in confusion. Feifei, are you a Takashi Hoshi? Yes, I awakened at the end of September this year. I only went back to school after I achieved complete control. You're a Takashi Hoshi and they bullied you? Why didn't you fight back when they pushed you? My brother said, Takashi Hoshi can't attack ordinary people, Hu Feifei said matter-of-factly. Chapter 132. Are you an idiot? Song Jia's eyes were full of resentment, as if he expected better from her. But if someone bullies Jia, I will help you beat them up, Hu Feifei quickly said. Feifei, fighting is not right. You should get along well with your classmates. If someone wants to quarrel with you, you should just ignore them. Your brother is a security guard, that's why he said that to you. In fact, Takashi Hoshi can't attack ordinary people with Takashi Hoshi skills, but it's fine if you're purely defensive. Moreover, as long as Takashi Hoshi doesn't attack ordinary people with Takashi Hoshi skills, it's fine to beat them up. I'm not instigating you to fight, I'm just telling you not to get bullied. Although Jade Nation school management was the best in the world, school bullying was still an objective reality. We don't bully others, but we can't be bullied by others. Okay. I know. Hu Feifei nodded obediently. Today is New Year's Eve. Feifei, stay and have dinner with us. I've already ordered food, and it will be delivered in about half an hour. Thank you, Auntie, but I don't need it. My brother just sent me a message. He's off work now and he'll come to pick me up. Come with us. Wang Lan said, Well, I'll call your brother. Then, he took out his phone and dialed his brother's number. Hu Qing was driving, but the car phone didn't affect his driving. Hu Qing knew that Fei Fei was going to her classmate's house, but he didn't expect that her classmate was Wang Lan's cousin. Fate was truly a wonderful thing. Hu Qing didn't expect that the world was so small. Wang Lan's eyes turned cold when he saw Hu Qing. Hu Qing looked very gloomy. His cheeks were deeply sunken, and his eyes were bloodshot. Hu Qing had a mustache under his nose, which made him look mature and fierce. The last time he saw Hu Qing was a month ago. Why did he change so much? Brother Hu, what's wrong with you? Oh! Hu Qing was a little stunned at first, but she understood in an instant, and a smile appeared on her face. The moment the smile appeared, the gloominess and coldness on his face seemed to be melted by a raging fire. It was the same face, but in an instant it seemed like two different people. Wang Lan was stunned by her sudden change in expression. How is it? My acting skills are superb, right? When I was in the army, I trained in disguise and infiltration. The clues you provided last time were dug deeper by us. It turned out that the gangs that we could see were just small fries, and there was a lot more going on inside. I'm under orders to infiltrate the enemy's base. As for my identity, I can use Brother Lang's. My sister's illness has been cured, but it wasn't because of you. It was because I agreed to sell myself to a boss in exchange for some black technology. Now that I've taken the lives of a few guards and more than a dozen lives, there's no turning back. Just now, did my expression look like one of those antisocial and anti-human extremists who would go all the way to the end? Motherf ****. I was wrong. You should have become an actor back then. Ha ha ha, that's what I thought too. Let's not talk about it anymore. After the new year, we can close the net. I'll treat you to a meal then. Wang Lan covered Hu Qing's mouth. Don't you know that you can't raise flags casually? I say, Lanji, you still believe in this. Countless martyrs used their tragic deaths to prove this. It's better to be careful. I heard that undercover work is very dangerous. It's okay. It's all under control. Since Hu Qing had another identity now, Wang Lan really didn't want to invite him in for a meal. He casually said goodbye and watched Hu Qing's car leave. When they got home, Song Jia obediently cleaned the living room that she had spent the whole day building. Her pitiful expression made people feel sorry for her. Wang Lan hurriedly took a broom. Just as she was about to help, she was stopped by her aunt. Let her do it alone. Come over and talk to me. Auntie, don't punish her. Actually, I think she did a good job. She can do things so beautifully at such a young age. I promise she won't be taken advantage of in the future. I'm not punishing her. Doing housework is a life skill that she must master. When you were her age, you were already living alone in the sinew building. Auntie changed out of her uniform and put on a set of casual clothes. The very cool kind. Although there was no heating in the South, for rich people, heating and air conditioning were nothing as long as they had money. The temperature outside was close to zero, but the temperature inside was definitely around 27 or 28 degrees. She wouldn't feel cold even if she wore short sleeve. Auntie sat on the sofa on the balcony and let out a long sigh. What's wrong? Are you tired? Wang Lan asked with concern. Very tired, but also very excited. The company's genetic medicine has made a breakthrough and is now in the clinical trial stage. Good news is expected to come in a few days. When the results of the clinical trial are out, people can use genetic coding to treat most of the diseases in the human body. When the time comes, genetic diseases and most cancers can be completely treated. Really? That's amazing. Of course it's amazing. Auntie's eyes were not only filled with pride when she said this, but also with a touch of sadness. It took me 11 years to fully understand what your uncle left behind 10 years ago. Compared to him, I'm just like a retard. If he was alive, human biotechnology would have advanced at least 50 years. Uncle is a real genius. Wang Lan sighed with regret. Wang Lan didn't know much about his uncle. When he was young, Wang Lan had only seen Song Zifeng a few times. He was a bookish young man who didn't talk much. However, he heard from his mother, Wang Ling, that Song Zifeng was one of the rare peerless geniuses she had ever met. Song Zifeng's talent was not inferior to any great scientist in human history. Unfortunately, the heavens were jealous of geniuses. Song Zifeng, who was only 26 years old, died young because of a malfunction in an experimental instrument. In the past, Wang Lan didn't understand how high his mother's evaluation was, but now, after Wang Lan knew about Wang Ling's identity, he felt even more sorry for Song Zifeng's death. Auntie was already one of the top scientists in the field of biotechnology, but it took her 10 years to understand Song Zifeng's research results from 10 years ago. When Song Jia was almost done cleaning, the takeout that Auntie ordered also arrived. The three of them celebrated New Year's Eve at home. While they were having dinner, Sioux City's fireworks suddenly filled the night sky. Ding dong, CSCC sent a congratulatory message. Wang Lan, Happy New Year's Eve. The fireworks outside are so beautiful. Ding dong, Jiang Xinyu sent a message, but it only had 2 words, cheers. Then, Su Xianguan also sent a long string of messages, but at the end, he said, if you don't forward it, you'll be single forever. Sure enough, it was this guy's style. Originally, Auntie wanted Wang Lan to stay, but Wang Lan chose to leave. After New Year's Eve, Sioux City's New Year's atmosphere became more and more intense. The songs that were playing in the supermarket were all New Year's greetings. Everywhere he went, it was bustling with activity. Although Wang Lan was alone, a single person's New Year's had to be full of rituals. Wang Lan had to do the dusting, the New Year's Eve, and the decorating of the house. It was only at this time of the year that Wang Lan felt how extravagant it was for a single person to live in a 400 to 500 square meter house. Cleaning was so tiring. After spending an entire day, Wang Lan finally cleaned the house. This was under the condition that Wang Lan used the nebula dance. Otherwise, if he used regular cleaning, it would take at least 3 to 4 days. Wang Lan went to the supermarket again and bought some Spring Festival couplets, characters of fortune, fireworks, peace knots, and so on. He filled a shopping cart. He drove home. At the end of the year, Sioux City's roads were very empty. There was basically no one around. He slowly went to the underground parking lot. The railing was raised. Wang Lan was about to go down when he suddenly stepped on the brake. Through the reflection mirror, the corner of his eye saw something lying in the flower bed at the entrance. Wang Lan got out of the car and carefully went to the flower bed. A person was lying in the flower bed. He didn't know if he was dead or alive. He carefully stretched out his hand and touched the person's neck. There was still a pulse in the neck. Although it was very weak, the person was still alive. Wang Lan carefully turned the person over. The person's face was full of blood. There was also blood all over the person's body. When Wang Lan saw the person's face, his face suddenly changed. Hu Qing. He hurriedly carried Hu Qing into the car. As he drove into the underground parking lot, he pressed one hand on Hu Qing's chest to treat him. When Wang Lan parked the car, Hu Qing's fatal injury was basically stable. Wang Lan hurriedly carried Hu Qing and took the elevator home. I didn't see you for only 2 days. Who would have thought that something would happen to you? I told you that you shouldn't have set up FIAG. You didn't believe me. Fortunately, you met me. Otherwise, I would have to burn incense the next time I talk to you. He took off all the clothes on Hu Qing's body. What was reflected in his eyes was a shocking sight. In addition to the knife wounds, Hu Qing's body had more than a dozen gunshot wounds. A perfectly fine person had almost become a hornet's nest. If it wasn't for the abnormal physical defense of a Takashi Hoshi and Hu Qing's Earth-type Takashi Hoshi skill as a defense, he would have been dead after suffering so many gunshot wounds. There were more than a dozen eye-catching gunshots, but none of them had broken through his flesh or injured his internal organs. Even so, Hu Qing had lost too much blood and was in a critical condition. Wang Lan didn't hesitate. He hurriedly used healing to treat Hu Qing. He was busy for a full 3 minutes and used half of his star power to heal Hu Qing's wounds. However, Wang Lan couldn't do anything about the blood loss from the serious injury. Was Hu Qing's undercover mission exposed? Or did something else happen? Wang Lan guessed in his heart. However, to know the exact situation, he had to wait for Hu Qing to wake up. Wang Lan, the situation is not good. Suddenly, Xiao Ai's voice sounded. What's wrong? Someone who hasn't been identified has entered the building. How many? 30. They should be the people who came to kill Hu Qing. Connect the camera and lock on to everyone. The television in front of him lit up. The television was divided into more than a dozen sections. Some of them were taking the stairs, some were taking the elevator, and some were in the underground garage. They were planning to destroy the protective door of the garage on the second floor. Is there anyone else in the building? They've all knocked off. Wang Lan's Sinew building was rented to high-end, high-paying companies. These high-end companies strictly followed the country's labor laws and rarely worked overtime. Even if they occasionally worked overtime, they would definitely knock off after 6 o'clock. Although there weren't many people in a company, there might only be a few dozen. However, any one of these 30-odd companies had an annual profit of more than 100 million yuan. Seeing this, Wang Lan was envious. He even thought of increasing the rent. Cut off the power on all floors below the top floor. Yes. With a bang, the Sinew building became pitch black except for the top floor. 7 or 8 people were trapped in the elevator. Chapter 133. What's going on? Did some idiot accidentally touch the electrical box? Could it be Jackal? Impossible. He took so many bullets. He's probably dead by now. But no matter what, we have to find that thing. Wang Lan was listening to Xiao Ai's broadcast of the enemy's distribution through his Bluetooth. At this floor, Wang Lan didn't need Xiao Ai's broadcast anymore. Suddenly turning off the lights was such an obvious anomaly. If they were truly elite soldiers, they would have immediately found a place to hide. Not only did they not do that, they even had the mood to chat. Calling them a motley crew was flattering them. They were just a bunch of idiots who didn't even know how to spell the word death. In an instant, Wang Lan's figure turned into a stream of light and appeared at the top of the stairs. What's that? There was a sudden exclamation from the opposite corridor. Takashi Hoshi's skills were good, but there was one thing that the light effect could be turned on, but not turned off. Wang Lan did not know what was going on with this light and shadow special effect, unless you had concealment, stealth, and other star martial skills or innate skills. Otherwise, once Takashi Hoshi's skills were activated, not only would there be fluctuations of spiritual energy around the body, but the light effect of Takashi Hoshi's skills would also be as bright and dazzling as fireflies in the night. When Wang Lan rushed out of the stairs, the enemies weren't blind, so they naturally saw everything. However, seeing it was one thing, and not being able to react in time was another matter. Almost at the instant they pulled out their guns, Wang Lan's figure passed through the 4 people in front of him like a butterfly. With one punch each, the 4 people were knocked unconscious by Wang Lan before they could even say a word. Wang Lan instantly turned off Takashi Hoshi's skills, and his figure flashed a few times and disappeared like a ghost. The 4 intruders were inexperienced, but Wang Lan felt that he had made a common mistake. Was there a need to use the Star Moon's swordplay Takashi Hoshi to deal with these ordinary people? Wouldn't it be better to ambush him under the cover of the night? Thinking of this, Wang Lan instantly adjusted his tactic. He heard a voice in his ear. Someone was coming up the stairs using the handrail. It was just 2 floors below him. Each of them held a flashlight in their hands, the tactical type. Wang Lan tiptoed and quickly went downstairs without making a sound. Then, he hid in a corner. The three people downstairs made noises from time to time as they went up the stairs. Ouch, f*ck, I kicked the handrail. Mother f*ck, can you stop bullshitting? You scared me. f*ck, don't shine the flashlight in my eyes. It's so dark that I can't see anything. Where's the switch? In this situation, we can't even find the exit. How can we find someone? Thump, thump, thump. After three muffled sounds, the world fell silent. From the 7th floor all the way to the underground garage, Wang Lan was like a dancing ghost in the night. The 30 people in Xiao AI's broadcast were all silently taken care of by Wang Lan in the dark. He went downstairs as fast as lightning. The whole process was smooth and smooth. It took less than half an hour. Turn on the lights. In the underground garage, all the lights were turned on. In front of Wang Lan, 5 or 6 people fell in all directions. All of them were deeply unconscious after being punched by Wang Lan. The flashlights in their hands scattered all over the ground. Ding! The elevator suddenly opened on the 2nd floor of the underground garage. 7 or 8 people ran out of the elevator while cursing. F***, that scared me to death. Why did the power suddenly go out? I almost died inside. Bam bam bam, one after another came out, another one was knocked unconscious. In less than 3 seconds, all 7 or 8 people were knocked unconscious at the entrance of the elevator. Clap clap clap. Just as Wang Lan was about to do something, a clear and crisp applause sounded. Wang Lan's expression changed drastically. He turned around abruptly and stared vigilantly at a middle-aged man who was shirtless and wearing a mandarin jacket in the middle of winter. The middle-aged man had a cross scar on his face. His flame-like hair stood up high. His thick arms were covered with green tattoos. The other party looked at Wang Lan mockingly and walked over step by step. As he approached step by step, his whole body exuded a very strong nebula aura. This was a master, at least for Wang Lan at the moment. If he didn't activate the phoenix form, Wang Lan might not be able to beat him. However, Wang Lan was a little reluctant to activate the phoenix form. Moreover, Wang Lan couldn't guarantee that there wasn't another person hiding in the building. Xiao AI didn't give Wang Lan any warning at all about such a person. Just as Wang Lan was thinking about how to deal with this guy, the other party spoke first. I didn't expect to accidentally bump into a Takashi Hoshi. Looking at your young age, you should still be a student, right? If you're a student, you should study hard and improve yourself every day. Why are you trying to be a hero at night? Do you think you're filming a superhero movie from White Eagle? Wang Lan's eyes flashed. The other party obviously didn't expect him to appear. Perhaps they didn't even know about his existence before entering the Sinew building. No wonder those people who were beaten up seemed to have nothing to fear and entered the building so brazenly. What you said doesn't make sense. A group of unidentified people broke into my house. Why? Do you want me to pretend that I didn't see them? Your house? The other party looked at Wang Lan in confusion. Sinew building is mine. How can you be reasonable when you break into my house? Then I'm really sorry. We're looking for an enemy. When we saw him escape, we chased after him without thinking too much. Little brother, can you do me a favor? If you can hand that person over to me, I'll pretend that nothing happened today. How about it? You'll pretend that nothing happened? Then I can't pretend that nothing happened. It's obvious that you're in the wrong today. Even if I kill this group of muggles, it's still legitimate self-defense, right? In an instant, Wang Lan's attitude changed. He turned into a person who didn't want to cause trouble but was dragged into it for no reason. How do you want to settle this? You broke into my house for no reason and caused quite a lot of damage to the Sinew building. It shouldn't be a problem for you to compensate a few million, right? Don't mention a few million, I'll even pay you 10 million. But you have to hand over the person we're looking for. I don't know who broke into my house. I was doing my homework just now. You're the one who triggered the alarm system. What does the person you're looking for look like? I don't want to be a busybody. Pay the compensation and take him away. We'll pretend that you never came. What does he look like? I have a picture here. As he spoke, the other party put his hand into his pocket. In an instant, Wang Lan's figure turned into a stream of light and dashed towards the other party. Butterfly flitting through flowers. It took less than half a second to cover a distance of 10 meters. The other party was taking out the picture and didn't expect Wang Lan to suddenly attack. By the time he realized it, Wang Lan was already in front of him. The other party was indeed an expert who had experienced hundreds of battles. He was able to instantly counterattack in such a situation. A concrete wall rose in front of him and wrapped him in the middle like two separate oddities. Under normal circumstances, in the case of a sudden attack, the other party's response could be said to be impeccable, and there was not the slightest fault to be found. Unfortunately, the person he met was Wang Lan, who absolutely could not be deduced with common sense. Almost instantly, Wang Lan switched to Takashi Hoshi's technique. The flame blade rose from his hands and crossed his palms. A vertical flame blade stood in front of Wang Lan. Wang Lan's figure flashed past the oddities like a stream of light. The flame blade drew a straight and thin line on the ground. The flame blade was extinguished. The oddities behind him suddenly made a strange sound. Then, it really did shatter like an eggshell. In the oddities, half of the other party's body had already sunk into the ground. It was a pity that he was too slow in going underground. He also didn't expect Wang Lan to use the vertical flame blade in an instant. Therefore, the flame blade flashed past him and directly cut his upper body in half. There was no warning from the battle plan to the sudden attack. The other party also didn't expect Wang Lan's attack at all. Wang Lan's luck played a part in the instant kill, and the other party underestimated him. Even if he was beaten to death, he wouldn't have thought that a normal high school student not only had the strength of starblazing, but also mastered two extremely lethal grade A Takashi Hoshi technique. What was even more unexpected was that these two Takashi Hoshi techniques had already been trained to a high level. Therefore, this early-stage Nebula Earth user lost unjustly and died miserably. The moment he was cut open, the other party's face was filled with disbelief and shock. Why the hell did you use the vertical flame blade? Can't you use a normal flame blade? Completed cross-level kill. Reward: 1000 EXP, 20 SP. Bang! The notification in his mind and the gunshot in his ears sounded at almost the same time. Wang Lan's body shook violently. He lowered his head in shock. A glaring hole suddenly appeared in his chest and blood gushed out. Holding his chest, Wang Lan's face was filled with shock. He fell down with difficulty. Blood flowed through the gaps between his fingers. Firearms could still cause fatal damage to Takashi Hoshi. At least before reaching the Galaxy Realm, the lethality of a rifle was comparable to a Grade B Takashi Hoshi technique. Wang Lan didn't expect that there would be an assassin hiding in the dark. Moreover, this assassin had successfully avoided Xiao AI's surveillance camera and suddenly shot Wang Lan when he was completely unprepared. Behind a load-bearing wall in the garage, a young man in black slowly walked out. The man in black seemed to be able to change the laws of gravity. He walked on the ceiling as if he were walking on the ground. Clear footsteps sounded from the ceiling. When he arrived above Wang Lan, the young man fell from the ceiling and stood in front of the middle-aged Takashi Hoshi, who had been killed by Wang Lan and whose body was still half-buried on the ground. The young man slowly took off his hat and spoke in a deep voice. Although I knew that with your personality, you would sooner or later die because you underestimated your enemy, I didn't expect this day to come so early. However, I've already avenged you. After finishing this last job, we agreed to leave together. Although it seems like we've left, we can't be together anymore. Suddenly, the young man in black lost his footing and his whole body fell down as if he had fallen down a flight of stairs. A stunned expression appeared on the young man's face. He didn't remember there being a pit under his feet. How did he suddenly fall into a pit? However, in an instant, he realized that it wasn't a pit under his feet. Instead, his legs had been cut off along his thighs. A stunned expression appeared on his face. In an instant, he saw a flame flash past his eyes again. His 2 arms flew out like broken toys and scattered in the distance. Only then did the pain from his limbs hit the young man in black's mind. His face became hideous because of the pain. Ah! A black shadow covered the young man's face. Wang Lan, who had fallen to the ground, appeared in front of him unscathed. He even took a special look at the gunshot wound on Wang Lan's chest. F***ck, there wasn't even a scratch? But what was with the gushing blood just now? At this moment, there was only one word left in the young man's mind. It seems that you also died because you underestimated your enemy. We'll have to leave together. Wang Lan's low voice sounded. His words contained a strong killing intent. Chapter 134. He was so close to being killed. Fortunately, Takashi Hoshi's healing skill was an upgrade from a passive skill. Wang Lan had only been worried about one thing. If he had been seriously injured in an instant, or if he had fallen into a coma, could heal still save his life? Now, he had finally received confirmation. Although heal had been upgraded from a passive skill to an active skill, the characteristics of a passive skill remained. When he suffered a life-threatening injury, Wang Lan didn't need to take the initiative to activate heal. Moreover, falling into a coma was the body's self-protection mechanism, and Takashi Hoshi's healing skill was also triggered by the self-protection mechanism. The 2 self-protection mechanisms wouldn't operate at the same time. In other words, if he was seriously injured and needed heal, no matter how serious the injury, Wang Lan wouldn't fall into a coma. No matter how painful it was, he had to endure it. Since Wang Lan became Takashi Hoshi, he had only fallen into a coma twice. Both times, he had fallen into a coma due to the strong side effects of using the Phoenix form. Because heal determined that this side effect wouldn't endanger Wang Lan's life, and it wasn't a physical injury that needed to be healed, the skill wasn't activated, and Wang Lan was blissfully unconscious. Wang Lan's true strength was star-blazing, and his physical strength couldn't withstand the impact of a bullet at all. Moreover, this shot came without a sound, and Wang Lan was caught off guard. A shot pierced Wang Lan's heart. If it were anyone else, they would have been deader than dead. Unfortunately, he met Wang Lan, who was an anomaly among anomalies. Even if his heart was shattered, the heart was just an organ to the human body. The fist-sized heart was repaired in 10 seconds under the full power of heal. Therefore, Wang Lan had been awake the whole time, and he had been waiting for the other party to come closer. Originally, he thought that this insidious viper would at least come over to determine whether he was dead or not since he was so careful. But he didn't expect that the seemingly cautious person would mourn for his companion without even taking a look. If you don't die at this time, who will? Therefore, Wang Lan instantly launched an attack, first cutting off his legs, then cutting off his arms. The black-clothed youth, who had been chopped up, had a confused and incredulous expression on his face. Who sent you? You're not dead. How can you not be dead? Ah, go to hell, go to hell, the young man in black roared ferociously. His body flashed with star power. As soon as the young man's astral power fluctuated, Wang Lan chopped down with his saber. The young man's head was chopped off by Wang Lan. Sigh. You're still unwilling to cooperate? Forget it. He stood up and returned to the corner in a flash. He picked up the phone and dialed the number. Hello? Wang Lan. You wish me a happy new year so early? A nouveau riche like you is too insincere. No matter what, you should at least bring something over personally to pay a New Year's visit. You want to dismiss me with a phone call? As soon as the call was connected, Su Shiryun's annoying voice came through. Brother Su, I was ambushed. There were 2 Nebula Takashi Hoshi and more than 30 ordinary people, but they were all armed. What? Su Shiryun was wearing a househusband's outfit. He was working hard to clean up the fruit shells that his wife would spit out at any moment. When he heard this, he exploded. "Where are you?" "At home. They came straight to my house. I killed the 2 Takashi Hoshi, but I knocked out the 30 ordinary people." "Okay. I'll be right there." After hanging up the phone, Su Shiryun's face was clouded with uncertainty. He was thinking much more than Wang Lan had said. Who was Wang Lan? He was the koi fish of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. He was the mascot of their intelligence agency. His name was well known even to the heavens. Wang Qianfeng was afraid that Wang Lan would be arrogant, so he did not tell Wang Lan. But Su Shiryun knew that Jin City's Heavenly Sword Bureau Director Zhang had personally gone to the Heavenly Sword Bureau headquarters in the capital to ask for a reward for Wang Lan. Not to mention the big shots in the Ministry of National Defense, even the #1 official remembered Wang Lan's name. Someone dared to assassinate such a person? Someone tried to assassinate Wang Lan on New Year's Eve? What did this mean? What kind of white terror did this represent? This was definitely the revenge of the demons. The demons had issued a challenge to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. The person I want to kill will not live past this year. Su Shiryun's mind filled with so many possibilities that even the head of the demon's spy agency would cry if he knew. "Brother, you're overthinking." "I'm not, Yun, what's wrong? What happened?" "Something big, something very big." Su Shiryun snapped out of his daze and immediately made a call. "Inform all the brothers to cancel their leave and head to Sinew Building immediately." Su Shiryun returned to his room with a whoosh. He opened the wardrobe and picked up his combat uniform before leaving the house. Wang Lan was afraid that these ordinary people would wake up halfway, so he packed them up and stuffed them into the underground storage room. When Sinew Building was first built, it was built according to air defense standards. The underground structure could withstand a missile strike. Stuffed into the storage room, it was guaranteed that they would not be able to escape. After doing all this, Wang Lan returned to the top floor. When he returned home, he saw Hu Qing standing anxiously in front of the elevator with a blanket wrapped around her body. Hu Qing's clothes had been torn apart by Wang Lan. She was naked and thrown into the bathtub to wash before being placed in the guest room. When she woke up, Hu Qing immediately realized that she was in Wang Lan's house. She searched for a long time but could not find any clothes to wear. She had no choice but to pull the blanket over her body. "You're awake? Are you planning to run around naked like this?" "Wang Lan, what's the situation with your elevator? It won't open no matter how hard I press it. Also, is your AI butler an idiot? He knows that I'm your friend and I asked him to open the elevator. He actually said that he would not open the door without Wang Lan's permission." Wang Lan was not in the mood to laugh at first, but when he heard Hu Qing's words, he burst out laughing. "Don't be in such a hurry to leave. How big of a hornet's nest did you stir up? 2 Nebula Masters with dozens of underlings, each with a gun, are chasing after you? They're chasing after you?" Hu Qing's face turned pale as she asked anxiously. "Yes, I've taken care of them," Wang Lan said casually and returned to the sofa. "What do you want to drink?" "Wait!" Hu Qing suddenly interrupted. "What you said just now. If I didn't misunderstand, the 2 Nebula Masters and dozens of gunmen were all taken care of by you?" "Yes." "When did you break through?" Hu Qing looked at Wang Lan in surprise. Last time, he was only in the middle stage of star blazing. How did he break through? "I didn't break through." Wang Lan looked at Hu Qing in confusion, not understanding what he meant. "You're still in star blazing?" "Yes." "Middle stage?" "Middle stage." "And then you, a middle stage star blazing, took care of 2 Nebula Masters without any injuries? And dozens of gunmen as well? You alone? How could I be unharmed? I almost died. Forgive my poor eyesight, but I really didn't see it. I say, Wang Lan, you, a middle stage star blazing, killed 2 Nebula Masters. Can you not say it so matter-of-factly? Hu Qing said agitatedly, the bedsheet on her body almost falling to the ground. This is my home. I have the home ground advantage. Isn't it reasonable to kill them? Besides, I really did almost die. Wang Lan pointed at his chest. The gunshot wounds on your body were left by that Takashi Hoshi who likes to use guns, right? You fought with him. Hu Qing's face darkened and she nodded in a low voice. They are Crow's right-hand men. Crow is the leader of Sioux City's underground forces. The police don't even have this person in their files. However, he has been controlling Sioux City's underground forces behind the scenes for 10 years. The mission I told you about last time was to go undercover and stay by Crow's side. It took me a month to gain Crow's trust. He has 2 Nebula Masters. One is called Ardwolf, and the other is called Viper. Ardwolf is a dual-element Takashi Hoshi of Earth and Fire. Viper is a Takashi Hoshi who controls gravity. Viper is actually much stronger than Ardwolf. Although he uses guns, he is even stronger when he doesn't use them. When he hides in the dark, no one can find him. By the time you find him, you are already dead. He is a true master assassin. The people that Crow wants to kill are all killed by Viper. Viper comes and goes without a trace. He himself said that he once escaped from a Galaxy Master. I also used all my means to escape to your house with injuries all over my body. You actually managed to kill them. That's unbelievable. Wait, I almost forgot. Go down quickly. There is important evidence in the trash bin outside your house. I can't guarantee that there are no other masters lying in ambush outside. I have already called my colleagues. It is dangerous for us to go out like this. What important evidence? Why are you so nervous? I also don't know what it is. I only know that it is a blue medicine bottle. It looks like medicine. Hearing this, Wang Lan stood up with a whoosh and took out her phone. Is it this kind? Yes. This is it. It is exactly the same. You stay here. I will go look for it. Wang Lan instantly walked to the elevator. Let's go together. If there is any danger, we can take care of each other. Wang Lan looked at Hu Qing and thought for a moment. Okay. Xiao AI, connect to the surrounding cameras and monitor everything within a radius of 3 kilometers. See if there are any suspicious people watching this place. Okay. Stepping into the elevator, Hu Qing looked at Wang Lan with a face full of hesitation. Your AI butler. It is not an ordinary home AI system, right? I remember you just said that he is an idiot. But not only can he control the electrical equipment in your house, you also asked him to monitor. It's good that you know. Don't tell anyone. Understood. Hu Qing instantly understood and nodded her head in promise. Wang Lan, you are currently safe. There are 12 suspicious people, but they are not a threat to you. You can go out without worry. Okay. Although he said that he could go out without worry, after what happened just now, who would dare to go out without worry? The two of them covered each other and rushed to the dumpster at the door. Hu Qing quickly rummaged through the dumpster. Soon, 2 blue demonic medicine appeared in Hu Qing's hands. Got it. Let's go. The two of them quickly rushed back to the Sinew building and took the elevator to the top floor home. Wang Lan, you know this thing? This is called a demonic medicine. The Heavenly Sword Bureau is investigating its source. Did you get it from the Crow? That's right. But this thing did not come from Crow. It was given to him by a woman. Although Crow controls the underground forces, at the same time, Crow is also controlled by others. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.